up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, week, your month, even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause I'm there for
The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. Everything from sunscreen to politics to the food industry. It's all designed to disconnect and manipulate you. We are in the middle of a war right now, but it's not a traditional war. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on freedom. This is the time to listen, not to the news. No, your intuition, your gut, your heart. Love is the greatest weapon against darkness. How do you love more? You begin by loving yourself. How do you love yourself? You listen to the messages your body is telling you.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero. There's an African legend that says, in a race between a lion and a deer, many times the deer wins. Because the lion runs for food, but the deer runs for life. The moral of the story is this: purpose is more powerful than need. When your why is as strong as your need to breathe, nothing can outrun your will.
Slaves used to work all day, every day, with no pay. But they got free food, water, and shelter. Today, we work all day, nearly every day, and we get paid. But the money we make, we spend on food, water, and shelter. We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom.
I'm jealous knowing we found something so wild of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground, but it saves you.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
I am struggling extremely with mental health issues, and I am trying to do that whilst being FTFE. And unfortunately, talking to flat earthers is quite painful.
All right, thank you.
Riverside, wait for me, I'll be coming home.
Law. Nowhere in nature or in a controlled environment can we ever produce a volume outside of containment.
What's that?
Has gas been seen or
what's that, brother?
Hands on your head while you working on the floor. Fire up that kush as I walk through the door. Cool your head. Now let me see you drop it to the
Chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, banana, banana.
I remember when I lost my mind.
All right, we all remember when we lost our mind, huh? Wow, that's talent. We got to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you from the heart of dystopia. We've got our sunglasses on and we can see what's really going on around us here. We break away from all of the traditional programs that they've given us, and we've learned to create our own programs. My gosh, I got Shifted Reality backstage, and we'll bring him up here in just a minute. In the audience here, we've got DJ New Moon. Over on the Rumble side, I've got No Stopping It, I see is over there. Welcome to the show tonight. We've also got Autodidactic Girl here on YouTube, DJ New Moon, the True Few, Unindoctrinated. Autodidactic Girl, the Samoan Watchman. Do not mess with the Samoan Watchman. He will obliterate you, man. We've got No One. Clever play on words. You see, I see what you did there. It's slick. Chilling. We got Lowry here tonight. Good to see you, my friend. We got Saddle Bum, J.R. Hartley, David Koresh is here as well. Fink Floyd, and let's see, who'd I miss? Michael King. Welcome, just plain David, but probably not. Very special. We all are. Autodidactic Girl. Let's see, J.R. Hartley. He was like one of the first ones in here. Marcy Chan is here. NH Guy. I think I pretty much got about everybody. Shifted Reality, of course, he's backstage. I'm going to bring him up here in just a moment. Here, Owen Berju. I can't forget about Berju and Smoking in G Sharp. Billy Labadie. Everybody just piling in here. We've already got a bunch going on. What's happening, Mr. Shifted?
What's up, Sov? How you doing?
Good. How are you tonight? What's going on?
Not too much, brother. Just kicking back, some brewskis.
Careful now. So yeah, did you see that the I guess this list now? See, here's the thing. Why do they have to vote on it? Why didn't he just go ahead and fucking release this shit, right?
Right.
You know, and listen, it was very telling. Now, what I understand too is this shit's being scrubbed just about an hour north of me in Winchester, Virginia, some facility there that they're trying to scrub this. But in any case, like we've said here, we already know who's all on it. We already know what this shit is about. It's nothing new, nothing fucking new whatsoever.
No, not to us, it's not, but to some people, maybe. Yeah.
Well, here's is this the one from her? Oh yeah, okay. I've got now. Here's what did you see how Trump talked to the press today? This was fucking crazy. Somebody asked him. He was with the Saudi prince, And this is before the vote. Let me see where that's at. Here it is. This is crazy. Listen to the way this guy talks.
All right.
And why? His response, how he just jumps off the, like, listen to this.
Is that pretty good?
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude.
It's the attitude. Why not just release him? And everybody's asking that. Why not just release him? Why are you making it go through a vote and all this other bullshit?
He's triggered, dude.
He is. Highly triggered.
I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton.
Now, you see what he did?
Yeah.
He admonished the reporter quite bombastically, I will add, but and it was really uncalled for. Now he's going on about who these other people that are not him are. And listen real careful to him too, because he keeps trying to over exemplify that he's not part of any of this. Right? Then what the fuck have you been holding it back for? You know, this is the whole thing. But listen to how he's like, it tells you everything you need to know about it.
Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax, and ABC's is your company, your crappy company is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC because
now he's threatening them. Now he's threatening them that they take away their FCC license.
Right. She asked a simple question.
Yeah. A very poignant question that a lot of people are wondering the answer to. And he has not fucking answered it. He's gone off on all this other and telling about all these people that were associated with Epstein and all this other. What are you going to give the Epstein list here orally?
Mm-hmm.
You were asked why not just go ahead and fucking release them. Nobody asked you anything about any of the rest of that shit. It wasn't warranted for you to go off on a tirade against the reporter and her company. And then to end it all up, you're going to threaten the entire company. You know, I tell you, they revoke their license for what? Like you're just the king of everything and can just do stuff?
Apparently he is, Sav. I don't know.
I mean, come on. This guy couldn't get any more full of himself.
News is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein.
That wasn't the question. The question was, why not just go ahead and release it? It wasn't anything to do with who's on it, anything else. It was, why not? And I'm wondering the same thing. Why not just release it? Why is all this got to be redacted for national security? Look, you can't claim national security when you've committed crimes. That's your own cover your ass security. That's not, and these other characters too that are involved, not just him. You don't get to claim national security when you commit crimes, especially when those crimes are of a treasonous nature. That's bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. And that's what they do. Everything. It'd be like, me saying, no, I'm sorry, sir. I can't blow into that breathalyzer thing there because of national security. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't want somebody. Yeah. What the fuck? No, that's bullshit. You don't get to claim that. I'm sorry, you can't bring those charges against me because of national fucking security. What?
It's the same straw man fucking shit that the Globers do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same tactic.
And then never once did he answer the fucking question. Went off on something else. That's what those globetards do. They're going there, you're saying, okay, well, here, and you got to keep them pinned to that fucking point and say, well, I didn't ask you anything about that. Okay, yeah. I didn't ask you about your belief of mass attracting mass. I ask you, why does mass attract mass? Why do you think that's true? What's the mechanics involved with it? Where does the energy come from?
Right.
Well, you believe that, sunset's impossible on a flat earth. It's like, dude, stick to what I fucking ask you. And that reporter should have jutted right in there and said, that's not what the question was at all.
Well, I'm sure she would have liked to, but I'm sure she's not. She's constrained,
Well, and it's not just that, too. You're looking at somebody who actually believes in this fucking bullshit fiction story of the government and all that, and that Donald Trump really is some kind of a person that's important or something. See, she's buying into that. And so I can imagine that it's a tad bit intimidating to her, the president of the United States. Somebody like me, I'm just like, that's just a wrinkled up nutsack in a fucking suit, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, that's all any of those motherfuckers are. They ain't cutting up from no better cloth than me. You're just another fucking asshole walking around here thinking they're important, thinking I'm impressed by their position, and I'm not. Because I realize that all this is just bullshit anyways. It's what comes after this is what's going to matter.
Right. Well, you know that in the military, they use the word theater to describe warfare in various parts of the world. Why do you think they use the word theater? Just think about that.
Yeah. Because all the world's a stage, baby. All the world's a stage. And look at how they put on their little acts like that. Even go on back to the meeting at what was the one where Yalta, where Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt met to discuss, it's like, there's other countries involved in this, dude. Who the fuck are you people? Yeah. And they're just like, it's like, that's why I love the Pink Floyd song, the Fletcher Memorial Home, because it's exactly that. He said, let's build them a home, a little place of their own. And it's basically a place where they can go and fuck with each other and leave us out of it. You can, if you want to be on TV, they can have little cameras set up and you can look at yourself on TV and shit, and you can make your little speeches and everything, but just leave us the fuck out of it.
I've never heard that song. I should probably look into it.
Yeah, it's off of the Final Cut, the album called The Final Cut.
Oh, okay. I'm not really familiar with, other than Dark Side of the Moon, I'm not too familiar with them. But
oh yeah, listen, it's you get into a journey of Pink Floyd, you're gonna find some cool shit. Especially on those, the Wish You Were Here album. I'll tell you one, man, kick back, smoke a bowl, put on some headphones, and listen to side 2 of the Wish You Were Here album. All of side 2 is like almost, it's like one continuous song, although it is actually 4 tracks. It's like one continuous song in that way that only Pink Floyd can do, meld from one place to another. Another good one, if you want to kind of like really get the idea of how this matrix, what it's set up for people, look at the listen to the song Dogs on the Animals album.
Mm-hmm.
Song Dogs. And it talks about how everybody just cutthroats each other so that they can, spend their last couple years on the beach being a fat ass, eating a puzzle and forgetting your fucking name and shit. See, it's and how you end up with you're supposed to go out of here with no regrets for that shit, and you always do.
Sounds like
back,
the baby boomers.
yeah, exactly, man. And that's who it was directed at, of course. That whole album, if you look at the generation that David Gilmour and Roger Waters came up through, yeah, very much so. It's where people were realizing that this focus on greed and warfare for profit is just so ludicrous,
Yeah.
And he puts it that way. I mean, even the movie Pink Floyd, The Wall. You get it, you watch it a few times. It really gets into, there's a lot of different threads in it. There's a lot of different in that movie, in the movie. And
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, up to including, using the education system, just various social dynamics that you see illustrated in that whole movie is really fascinating. Even the scene of the court, that's fucking badass as all hell. Well, let me finish this guy out here.
Yep.
Their time. Larry Summers was with them all the time. That
Larry Summers, he was he was chairman of the Fed there for a while. A big banker. In fact, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing about how great Larry Summers was here a few years ago. Jamie Dimon,
the fund guy, was with them all.
Yeah, this is that Arab dude, that Saudi prince. He's probably wondering, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting crazy. And he tries to lay it off on, like, listen to this here. This is another indication of that. And then I'm going to show you, let you hear something.
So I'm for I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends.
Now, see, this is where you got to get into it, is you got to look at how this motherfucker is really trying to sew this into a left-right bipartisan issue. And it's not. I will remind everyone again of Dennis Hastert, former Republican Speaker of the House, who was described by the judge as a serial child PDF, okay? And he got 8 months. House arrest.
Wow.
But he was a Republican. Let's take a look at Trump's former spiritual advisor from his first term. That dude and his wife got convicted on abusing a 12-year-old girl. 8 months.
Yes. Oh my God. The prison system actually favors these type of people. So
it's not what you do, it's who you are.
Yeah. Well, even regular jabronis who are doing these things, they get lighter sentences than people with like a drug crime, or it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Well, listen, he'll say, hey, they went to the island, which I never did. He's got to add that to it. Listen.
All of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And
but wait a second, though. You mean to tell me that the King of England stripped his own brother of all of his royal titles and duties over a hoax that didn't even involve a British political party or anything else like that? A hoax? What? Don't
Fuck,
make no
dude.
sense.
I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking convenient. He calls it a hoax now.
Yeah. Well, it's a hoax, but we're going to release the list. And and Bill Clinton's been there like 28 times to this hoax. It's like, geez, Donald, that's almost 28 times. That's like very, very specific number. It's almost like there was, I don't know, a list or something, you know?
It's sick, dude. It's absolutely sick. It's just,
it's nuts.
Yeah,
it's nuts. But here's,
wow.
Now this has been released. This is going all over on X. And it's audio from Virginia Giuffre, the woman who was, what was her name? Virginia Roberts at the time. She worked at the Mar-a-Lago spa and then was recruited by Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. But anyway, she is mentioning, well, I'll let you hear it. I'm going to take me a bong rip.
Want the truth about who spent the most time on that island? Fine, I'll give it to you straight, no filter. The former president, you know exactly which one. Yeah, Clinton. The survivors still call him number one. Epstein used to laugh and say there was heavy competition for the title, but when the girls compared notes in the safe houses later, every single one of us agreed he took the crown no contest. He liked the dog leashes, thick black leather ones with silver studs. He'd clip them on our collars, yeah, we had collars, and parade us around the main house, barefoot on the marble, out by the pool, sometimes all the way down to the beach. If you walked slow, he'd yank. If you stumbled, he'd make you get on all fours and eat dog biscuits off the floor like a good girl. He kept a crystal bowl of them right by the bar, called them treats. When he was in the mood, he'd pick one of us, always the youngest looking, always the one who still cried, and say, "You've earned something extra special tonight. You don't need me to spell out what the extra special was. You already know." Then Hillary would walk in. Everything got darker the second she appeared. She didn't want sex. She prefers terror. She'd scream at us to get on the floor and lick up whatever mess had been made. Sometimes it was food, sometimes it wasn't. If we were too slow, she'd grab a fistful of hair and shove our faces into it while the men laughed. And then there were the nights she called the most dangerous game. They'd release us into the trees with a 10-minute head start, barefoot, no clothes. She'd be waiting in a golf cart with a hunting rifle across her lap. Bill and his buddies followed on foot with those electric pods they used on the yachts. If he caught you first, you were dragged back and degraded in ways that used to wake me up screaming. If she caught you, you didn't come back. Most times, she didn't even bother getting close. She'd just take the shot from 50 yards and watch through the scope while you bled out on the leaves. That's who they were on that island. That's who they still are. And every time you see them smiling on television, remember, most of us never came home.
What do you think of it?
Dude. Well, I was reading one of the chats. It said it sounds far-fetched. And I'm like, well, reality's stranger than fiction, man.
Well, the thing is that this is not the only place I've heard of this most dangerous game scenario being played. We can jump into 1994, I think it was 96. There was the Marc Dutroux case in Belgium, and this ended up opening a can of worms that led right into the Belgian Parliament and into the European Union as well. Blatant police corruption and cover up of it. The interesting thing is that it's he was procuring these kids for the elite and members of their government. And another interesting part of this too is that there's connections, although it's hard to find, get it. Trying to think, I think it's called a channel called Conspiracy Files, that he did quite a dive into the Marc Dutroux case. And it leads us as well, because he didn't live very far from it at all, the Mothers of Darkness Castle in the Ardennes forest right there in Belgium. And this is supposedly where the headquarters of like these main witches. They have a chamber in there, a ritual room supposedly that has 1,000 points of light in it. And you might recall someone who spoke of 1,000 points of light, George Bush. One of his aides, after he made that speech talking about the 1,000 points of light, came up to him and said, I'm really enlightened by that. I want to be a part of this 1,000 points of light. And George Bush just looked at her very serious and said, "You're not ready for that."
Huh? When was that?
Well, back during George H.W. when he was president.
I don't remember that speech, although I was a young kid. But I mean,
oh yeah,
I'll go enough to know.
You can easily do a YouTube search on it, and George Bush 1,000 points of light, and they'll bring it right up.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
Really
I'm gonna
quite
look that up. Yeah.
See, that's what they rely on, is the generational gaps between these events. Like somebody like me, I like have a record going back 60 years. Whereas, a lot of people, I never really started paying attention, but I've always, regardless of what I'm doing, I'm always paying attention to what's going on pretty much every level. Just kind of like watching, seeing what's happening, observing patterns. Watching society change has been one of the things that's kind of fascinated me. It's like, man, how do they do that? And I figured it out. Of course, it's through our media and through all the information that we consume.
Yeah.
And the more that we do, the worse it gets. I mean, look how quickly they got all these stupid kids to go with this, whatever this stupid ass 6-7 thing.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. And it's really, how do you do that? How do you get them to do that? See? And what people don't realize is that they react to it, and that gives it power. Whereas, if you just blow it off and pay no attention, as though they said nothing, as they are indicating that they're doing, from what I understand, well, it's just blow it off. If they don't get the reaction, they'll stop doing it, because it really is quite nonsensical.
It's fucking stupid, man.
Yeah.
But if it goes viral, then apparently it's worth watching.
Yeah. So, as I said before, from what I understand, I read a thing. Let's see who. Oh. Okay. I read a thing. Well, no, it's on here. It's actually Jeffrey Epstein's brother talking about how that shit is being scrubbed out here in Virginia, in Winchester. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Here in Winchester, Virginia, to I don't know, redact it and shit. I don't know what the fuck they're actually doing with it. This is crazy. Is this the one? No, that's not it. Wait. Okay, yeah, here it is. This was on News Nation, I guess. And let me bring that up real quick. Oh, sorry. I don't have nothing on the screen. There we go.
Jeffrey, in 2016, I said this publicly before. Jeffrey told me that if he said what he knew about the candidates, they'd have to cancel the election. He didn't tell me what he knew, but Jeffrey definitely had dirt on Trump. And you could see in the emails, Trump could deny it all he wants, but it's pretty clear. I mean, everything Trump says is a lie.
But that's not what you were talking about.
It's provable that he was in Jeffrey's office. He said he wasn't in the house. It's provable he was there. He said everything he says is a lie. Jeffrey.
It's provable he was there, which means that there's probably video of it.
Yeah.
And this is referring to the email stating that Trump was alone with one of these girls, a 17-year-old girl, for several hours in the place. So, and his brother says that it's verifiable that he was there. It's probably video evidence.
Yeah.
Or at least photographic.
Dude, there was a sign-in list when Obama was in the House, where he had children over the White House for fucking ping pong tournaments or some shit. Like, I don't even know. It's the same shit, dude.
I know.
Like, what the fuck? It was just back then. It was a little bit harder to like find, but like, it's the same formula. It's just somebody fucked up and found, and Epstein went mainstream, although they control mainstream. So I don't know.
Well, here's another one. You hear a lot of these women talking. Listen to this here.
Yes, I dated Jeffrey Epstein very briefly in 1983. And, his best friend at that time was Donald Trump. They had a very close friendship. And one day I was on a walk with Jeffrey and he said, let's stop in and see Donald in his office at Trump Tower. And I said, okay. And we walked in there and Trump proceeded to grope me right outside of his office door while Jeffrey just stood there and watched. His hands were all over my body, and it was very odd because the two of them were talking about, something not about the groping. They were having a conversation. I don't remember what it was about, and smiling, continuing on with their conversation as if the groping wasn't happening, which caused me to sort of freeze up and be utterly confused about what was going on. After the incident, and it was, very brief, just a couple of minutes, we took the elevator, down, and Jeffrey's energy was very dark and sort of stormy and angry. And we got it on the street and he just ranted at me and asked me, he kept saying, why did you let him do that? Why did you let him do that? And I remember being utterly confused. Like, yeah, why did I? What just happened? And as I came into my body, I got the sense that the whole thing was coordinated.
Why is she dating Jeffrey Epstein would be my first question.
Right. I thought that same thing. Yeah, I thought that all same thing. Oh yeah, this APAC is imploding, man. Did you see that X has disabled the translation function for Hebrew?
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
There's a reason behind that too. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, well, I can read between the lines there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is pretty good. This will tell you everything right here. All right, so these were the posts after Trump told Israel to stop bombing Iran after Trump bombed Iran for them. Death to America, death to the West. Here's one that said, one symbolic bomb in Washington will remind Trump that he is not omnipotent and will restore our national honor. So in here it says, Trump will receive divine assistance if he knows his place and helps Israel. If he speaks to the people of Israel in commands like his progressive predecessors, he will lose his historical role. One says, Trump, beware, war doctrine awaits you. The fuck? One says, we did it on some Tuesday in September, didn't we? That's what they say. One says, all the terrorist cells created in the U.S. will surely soon begin to awaken, especially if this whole day isn't one big troll. One Iranian bomb in Washington in an open area. So basically a false flag. Why would a Jew be talking about an Iranian bomb?
Right.
These people are. Amici, you should have written that it's time to activate the pager that Bibi gave Trump. Someone is invited to talk. If Israel theoretically decides to attack America, what should be the opening? The White House, Silicon Valley? Interesting basis. All because he said for them to stop bombing fucking Iran.
What? Right. It doesn't make sense.
It's because they're an evil, fucking warlike people. They really are.
Yeah. This is counterintuitive.
That whole country is just rabid, fucking violent people. Listen, Rome. Yeah. Listen, this is terrible. These, yeah. I don't know what that last little bit even says. It's too small. But the thing is that they have now disabled the Hebrew translator in X because, well, there's a lot of people over here in the United States that are going, oh, fuck Israel. What the hell are we doing? Look at the behavior they're exhibiting. Look at what they're doing. They don't abide by any of the rules. They think they're above the rules of the world. And, you know, we're not going to support that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little wider than that, but we are. But see, the thing is, who was it said that? Was it John McCain, I believe, that was shaking Bibi's hand at one time? And he said, it's nice. It's great to know that you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. That's true, because we have a bunch of Christian Zionists. Take a look at that that goofball. What's that guy down in Tennessee? Greg Locke, right? You see him and his big face popping out there all over the place about Israel, right? I thought you were about Jesus, and aren't you supposed to be about America? What are you doing? It's because they believe that Schofield Bible fucking bullshit translation and it's all right through what they like to call the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I heard a dude there at work, man. I says, you know, we can't be fucking supporting that shit. And he said, yeah, but those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those that curse them. And I said, well, look, if that's true, then I should be able to change my name to Jesus Christ, and now you have to believe I'm the Messiah. Do you think that a little shithole country that practices apartheid and commits genocide is the Israel spoken of in the Bible? Just because somebody named it that?
It's total, yeah.
That's stupid. All you got to do, if you're a Christian, all you got to do, if you think that this is okay and you're supposed to bless Israel, well, you just ask yourself this question. If Jesus were presented with the information that we received about Gaza and what's going on and saw the videos, and of course he does see this, what's he going to think? What's he think about that? Does he think, oh, those are certainly some blessed people. I'm real proud. Or do you think he would condemn those actions?
Mm-hmm.
He would definitely condemn those actions. He would want retribution. Most certainly retribution.
Yeah.
That were acting up like that. Wasn't it said it's better to have a millstone tied around one's neck and to be cast into the sea than to cause any of the little ones to stumble? And when you got competitions with your snipers to see who can get the most shot in the head on a certain day, shot in the chest on another day, shooting men in the dicks on purpose. I mean, dude, these people are they're Satan's army, man. They certainly are.
They don't. The right has these people. They don't even know what it means to be a Christian. They're political Christians.
Right. Right. Well, they don't even understand it. They know that these events with Jesus took place in the Middle East. And the majority of the Old Testament centers around what we call the Middle East. However, it's not about the place. It's about the stuff that happened. Okay. And it's neat. You know, you can learn that's some neat shit. Yeah. But did it really happen there? Do we know that 100% that is the geographic area that they speak of? In some instances, yes, and in other instances, no. I mean, you look at some stuff in the Old Testament, for instance, like what kind of wood was Noah instructed to make the ark out of? Gopher wood. Well, there's gopher wood's only found down around the southern parts of Louisiana and Florida,
Right.
Around that Fertile Crescent, where the Mississippi, that has been compared to the Nile so many times, flows into, where there's cities along there that mimic the names of other cities in biblical times, like Memphis and Cairo, all these different places. So I have to wonder. So it's about the story. It's about the message. The location has nothing. My dad used to pick about that. He'd go, they call that the Holy Land. Well, what's holy about ground? He says, if I went over there and I got myself a couple shovelfuls of the dirt and I put it in a sack and brought it back here to the U.S. and I dumped it out in the middle of my backyard, is my backyard now holy land? Is that the holy land now? You see, that's the thing. This is where people get so caught up on the physical shit. They don't look at the message that's offered. They only look at the physical things. Oh, look, here's a stone that might have been touched by Jesus or something. Well, so fucking what? Yeah. Focus on the message. Who cares if this is the very street or if it's not the very street, or these people are going to fight over a certain location. And it reminds me of have you ever seen Monty Python, The Life of Brian?
Oh man, yeah, it's been a while though, but yeah.
Okay, so you remember they all started following him around and shit, and he was trying to get away from them, and he had all these people following him, thinking he was some kind of a messiah. And as he's running away, one of his shoes comes off, right? And the people stop and they picked it up. Look, he has left us a sign. It is a sign of the shoe. It means he wants us to take off one shoe and to follow him. And so that, right off the bat, they adopt some kind of an icon. And then the other half of them said, no, he left this gourd. He wants us to follow the gourd. And it showed how this following split immediately. It had just been formed and it's already split into the fucking shoe people and the gourd people.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, here's the Dunkers and the Sprinklers. Here's the Adventists and the Baptists. Here's the fucking Methodists and the Catholics. And here's the Jiminy Crickets. See how it does? And it totally detracts away from the whole message of it.
Right. There were no denominations when Christ was here. It was either you follow Christ or you didn't. Right.
They were actually in early days, before there was a canonized Bible or anything like that, there were the disciples of the Nazarene. They hadn't adopted the word Christian. The word Christian came from the fucking Roman dictator Constantine.
Yeah, it wasn't even called. You're right, Sav. It was followers of the Nazarene. Yeah. Yeah.
So what they did, he created this Bible so they could have their religion, but it was going to be controlled and it was going to be set up so that it supported government,
which is the Catholic religion, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that's all he did. That's a lot of people, and they're bamboozled by that. So you go over, a few hundred years or whatever, and people are indoctrinated into that. And we know how easy it is to indoctrinate an entire society. All you have to do is run it through one or two generations.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have control of the information on the children, well, there you go. And what did we see in the early 1900s, late 1800s? Oh, that's right. There's all these fucking orphans for some reason.
Right.
What an easy target audience to indoctrinate, right?
Yeah. Well, that goes into the little season theory of, for one, that the geography of Israel is different, and also the orphan stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that whole thing. I'm leaning more and more toward that little season idea. And there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, that's blasphemy and shit." And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just open-minded curiosity. You're putting pieces of a puzzle together and they seem to fit. Okay.
It does.
Now, the important thing is somebody going to go to hell if they think we're in Satan's little season? No, they're not.
No.
Because as long as you're still abiding by the fucking covenant, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You still believe in Jesus. You still believe in God. You're still trying to do right by your fellow man. Blah, 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 blah. Right? You're walking the path, or at least trying to walk the path. There you go. Does it matter one way or the other? You know, it's liable to come about and you go, oh, fuck. Okay, well, I was wrong about that. Or, wow, I was right. They did try to deceive me and think that there was going to be this rapture coming and all that, not really knowing that already fucking happened, you know?
Right. I mean, yeah.
Either way, does it matter? You're going to the right place, hopefully, regardless.
Right.
You know? And your ultimate destination or whatever is not going to be dependent on whether or not you thought that there was enough compelling evidence to support Satan's little season, or whether you didn't. It's, if anything, God's going to say, hey, you know what, man? I gave you that brain and I'm really proud of what you did with it. You're an open thinker. You are able to extrapolate and use deductive reasoning. That's great. What a wonderful testament to my creation.
Right. Like, you know, let's say the little season's correct and you don't believe it. Well, then your timeline's all fucked up. But if you still believe in the covenant, you're good. Yeah.
Good to go. You're just doing what you're supposed to do regardless. And it's pretty cool. I know confidently that eventually I will be able to see it all unfold, to be able to see it all played out. And whether it's in this physical incarnation or within the next phase of this experience, don't matter to me. It don't really matter to me. And I tell you what, it's really some compelling information to me. I think that if anything, a lot of it has strengthened my belief, because I think that it's most likely that a lot of these events, knowing that history is a lie, we've had 1,000 years added to it, blah, 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 that these, you realize that they've tried to trick you with the timeline, so it wasn't really that long ago, you know? And this is something that's really crazy with me, because when I see this old architecture, and I've always felt like this, even when I was just 18, 19 years old, stationed in Germany and in Europe, and seeing these old world structures. And man, I'll tell you, one time I was walking around and there was this big wooden door, and I wasn't paying attention to the outside of the building. There was nothing really that spectacular to me about the outside of the building. It appeared to be a church, but it had one of those real big, thick, heavy oaken doors with the iron studs in it and shit, you know, like you see in the movies. And I was like, wow, that's really a cool door. And I pulled on the handle and it opened. Well, it was a church. And let me tell you something. I went inside there, and the vaulted ceilings and the architecture and everything inside there, and all nestled in with the pipe organ right up there on the altar. I was like, oh my God. I was just taken and awestruck by this. And I was like, how the fuck did they build this thing? And then from the outside, it wasn't all that impressive, but there were these other impressive things. And I've realized that over the years, one of the things, it was like I get this feeling about it. Like there was this castle that was in the town where I was, where I lived. And a lot of times at night, I would just, for no reason, I'd get up and go down there and sit in front of this castle and just look at it. And there was this feeling I got about it. And what I figured out what that is that the feeling is that I miss it. It's like something you miss. You know, and I was like, well, how could I miss something that's not part of my time? But nevertheless, that's still the feeling I get.
Yo, so there's also, with the little season, there's also a theory that we were actually old souls.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, the whole Cabbage Patch bullshit. Not bullshit, but whatever, these random babies that appear. I don't know, whatever. I didn't really look into it, but basically they're saying that we're souls that were giving another chance before Christ came, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes I feel like I'm an old soul too, man. So like it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a vibe or it's hard to say, but it's that's the best I can describe the feeling I get with those things. And it's like, wow, hey, there's Roger Ledwell showed up finally. No, I think he's been here a few minutes.
Oh, Roger.
Good old Roger. Oh, this is a little commentary on his Trump's mannerisms with the press. This is kind of, I mean, in some instances I could see, and he got a lot of popularity because he would, when the press was acting shitty, get real shitty back with it. But it's like, if you ask the wrong question, this fucking guy goes off the deep end, man. He really does.
Quiet, Piggy? Yes, the eloquent linguistic stylings of President Donald J. Trump talking to a reporter, a poet, a scholar. I'm just kidding. This guy is literally a ham sandwich with opinions. But that is exactly who he is and how much he respects women. But it looks like the cracks are showing. I mean, the bacon is sizzling. And lashing out like that because a reporter asked you about the Epstein files, which you claim to be innocent in? Sounds a little defensive to me.
Yeah,
You're squealing louder than a hog that just saw a smokehouse sign. Because he's sounding more like a rabid farm animal who's backed into a corner, foaming, snapping, biting. Somebody call animal control. I mean, J.D. Vance. But the gall of this guy calling anyone a pig is hilarious. This guy is like 90% pork product at this point. He shouldn't be talking about pigs unless he's talking about his official portrait or his manners. But seriously, if you zoom in on a pig's eye and Trump's eye, they are actually virtually indistinguishable.
Dude, that's fucked.
Jeez.
That's kind of fucked, man.
That is, yeah. That's wow. Good God.
That's what I call pig. Sure, perfect.
Now, is that a pig or is that Trump?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't read this down here. Holy shit.
But calling you a pig is actually far too generous because pigs are actually very clean creatures and highly intelligent. They're just about as smart as dogs and 3-year-old children. So obviously smarter than you. So quiet, Piggy, before the actual pigs get offended. Okay, bye.
Yeah, he's triggered. I mean, come on, man. If you get triggered, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I
gotta tell you something, man. Well, look at what he was doing because of Marjorie Taylor Greene and calling her a fucking traitor and shit. Why? Because you don't want to be supporting Israel in this bullshit. That's what her stance on that is. He don't like that, and her wanting these fucking files released really pissed him off to the point where he's not going to endorse her or any of this shit. She was one of his most ardent supporters until he flipped his shit around.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's part of the fucking script, but for crying out loud, man, they have to play it out like such children. I mean, they do. They act like children.
They're not. It's not even being hidden anymore.
No,
they're exposing the average voter as what they are. They know. They don't care anymore, man. They don't give a fuck, dude.
It's like, I know, because it's like I sit back here and I go, dude, will you stop trying to shift it off on a party? We know you're all fucking perverts. Okay, all of you. And I hear people, they're supposedly intelligent people, blue check marks, and that kind of thing, and big influencers, and they'll say, well, if this was real, then why didn't the Democrats release it? Motherfucker, for the same reason that nobody launches a nuke, right? my opinion, the reason nobody ever launches a nuke is because it'll give up the fucking hoax. But the idea is that one guy launches a nuke, everybody launches a nuke, and we all lose, right? It's called mutually assured destruction. It's like a Mexican standoff, okay? And releasing the list unredacted, raw, which there shouldn't be no fucking vote for it or nothing. They should just be released, right? But if the Democrats release it, it don't matter because there's people from both sides are in it. Important, prominent people, like we just heard, Larry Summers. Yeah, I believe that 100%. But there's, several hours that you spent alone in Jeffrey Epstein's apartment or house with one of the victims. Now, nobody's saying anything inappropriate happened. And if there's photographic evidence or whatever, like Epstein's brother says that he was in there, that he can 100% be proven, then okay. So what went on? Does he have to come before a congressional committee? Who's the girl? Let's talk to the victim. Now, these victims, many victims, we know, and people that have brought allegations against Trump have been paid off. And they dropped the suit. So, what's really going on? My opinion, I think that he's as dirty as the rest of them. It may be very possible that Epstein or that Trump was running this and Epstein was working for him. Who the fuck knows at this point? The bottom line is we got to stop putting our trust in these weird people that they put in front of us on the TV and tell, hey, go down here and pick one of these fucking people to do some shit. No, we don't want any of them. We don't want none of them. They're all a bunch of fucking weirdos and perverts, man. Every last one of them. Look at there's Ryan S. finally shows up.
What does bipartisan have to do with the subject matter of the Epstein files? I mean,
that's it. That's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's all of these elite motherfuckers are in this shit. Okay? That's why they're elite motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's the only way they got there. Yeah.
Hell into this money. There's some kind of an American success story and shit like that. No. I take that fast track. They all do.
Right. It's a fast track to success. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you're a movie star, rock star, country music fucking star, whatever the hell you are, politician of high notable, a banker. By the time you're at that level right there, they have done some shit to get there. And I'm talking about some real blood shit.
Yeah. In one form or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the PDH stuff, sacrificing a family member, putting on a dress. I mean, there's just there's a slew of things that they will have you do if you're willing.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to make it to that level.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it was like, in the rap industry, a lot of these rappers, they got to get a deal as long as they let somebody sodomize them.
Oh yeah, man.
That happened all the time, man. Tupac Shakur, that dude was gay as hell, man.
Dude, yeah. Justin did a stream on the whole rap thing, and yeah, dude, it's dirty as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked.
So this is anytime you're selling your soul out to the devil, and that's what it is, man. Hollywood's full of it. New York's full of it. Try to get you at every level, but these elite motherfuckers, dude, come on. No, they didn't just fall into that. This is.
Yeah, ask yourself, are these people any more talented than the people you see, in everyday life?
No, they're all just fluff. Look at Elon Musk. Have you ever heard him actually say anything fucking intelligent?
Fuck no.
No.
That guy's a fucking idiot, dude.
I think he's like autistic or something, man. And here he is, supposedly some genius. Come on, get out of here. You want me to believe that you're catching rocket ships with chopsticks? Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. You can't. Where do you go get a ticket? Where do you go get a ticket to go and watch one of those?
It's fucking the Stephen Hawking's, the same bullshit they did with him, dude.
Did you ever see the thing where they put him on a fucking zero-G plane?
Yeah, I did. Shit's fun.
It's sick, man. It's sick. He tossed him around. He's like, ah. Like a sack of oranges or something.
Yeah.
God damn.
So I don't know if you guys heard, but Mario in the Fall just put out a tweet, and I guess Chuck Schumer rammed the Epstein list through. So it's already through the Senate. It's going to Trump's desk. So now Trump has the option to either sign it or veto it. So if Trump could you imagine if Trump vetoed the Epstein files right now? And can you imagine what we're going to see? I'm so excited. What do you guys think the craziest person is going to be that we never thought possible was on the Epstein list? I mean, it's at this point, you pretty much assume like half of our country, every director from every intelligence agency, every FBI director. I mean, I don't know who the hell is not going to be on this Epstein list outside of like a handful of people. But I'm sure that we're not getting the full. There's no way our intelligence agencies are letting the national security threat, like Jamie Dimon or somebody in there, raping little girls. It's just not. You're just not going to see it. It's just not going to be on there. There's people that controlled Epstein. You got to remember that Epstein didn't control everybody. So. And I don't know where I'm going down here in El Salvador. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know what you.
Down in El Salvador. Yeah, that's where was that? They were calling. They was calling MTG and the other that they're traitors or some shit like that. Oh yeah, this is pretty bad. You know what's going on in Mexico, right?
I do not know what's going on.
Okay, man, these people are tripping. They were storming the presidential palace yesterday. Broke down barricades and shit, and it's because their President Sheinbaum, it's a very Mexican name, is she's a small hat.
What the
President
fuck
of
kind of name is
Mexico.
that?
Yeah, Sheinbaum. You know, you couldn't put a little L on the front of that or something, or an O at the end, El Sheinbaum, you know, or some shit like that. No. It just lay it right out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were flipping shit because she's corrupt as fuck. She was put in by the cartels. How about that? Some kind of a foreign entity having influence in the Mexican people's election and placing in there people of their choice that are beneficial to their cause. That sounds a bit like fucking APEC, doesn't it?
Yeah. What the fuck the Mexicans? Yeah, they're not gonna. They don't give a fuck about Israel. I mean, no, not. You know.
Well, that's
not in it. Yeah.
Watch here.
The president of Mexico, Jewish lady, in a country that's 99.9% Catholic. And I catch her what she's doing. She was way whiter before. What she's been doing is going out in the sun, getting sunburned, trying to make her skin tan. I've been seeing her going to all these small villages and like dancing with the local politicians and doing little Mexican dances. And like she's like getting swung around by the dudes. So I'm like, all right, cool. But within one day of her winning the presidency, she was shaking hands with Larry Fink from BlackRock. And in that election, there was 38 assassinations, not attempted. Assassinations on people running for the president of Mexico, and the unofficial number is over 100.
Wow,
that's a good way to win an election. Just kill all your opposition, right?
When did this? I didn't even know she was president of Mexico. When did that happen?
Oh, it's been a few months. Shit, time goes by. It may have been a year, maybe.
Oh wow,
close to it. But I remember I laughed so hard when I found out that the president of Mexico was named Sheinbaum, and I was like, you know. But then I thought, you know, it's not as ridiculous as to that close after 9/11 for somebody named Barack Hussein Obama to be elected president.
Exactly.
So I was like, are you people fucking shitting me? Really? I mean, okay. You know,
Yeah.
and that was in the middle of the time when they had people all in the fever of Islam hatred, you know, looking at everybody that was of Islamic descent as like some kind of a potential terrorist and everything like that, you know, and that's because of the imagery and repetition of the word terrorist. You know, they show a Middle Easterner every time they say the word terrorist. So then all they have to do is show a Middle Easterner, and the first thing that comes to your mind is terrorist.
Yeah. Prior to that day in September in 01, what the fuck was a terrorist?
Well, a terrorist is defined as someone who uses violence, particularly against the civilian population, to try to bring about political change in one way or another. Okay. So in all reality, police are terrorists in a way. But because they're at war with the civilian population to try to for a governmental body. I think we commit acts of what would be considered terrorism on a daily basis around the world. You know, Trump is dropping bombs right now. He never stopped. He dropped more bombs during his presidency than Obama did, and he was like the king of it. So this guy's not a peace president. No president is a peace president at all. We're always at a state of war. We've only had a collective, I think, 15 or 17 years collectively, all put together in our nation's history of peace, where we weren't in a state of war with somebody.
Yeah. What I meant was like, what was like in 1995? What was a terrorist, as opposed to post?
Oh, they still had terrorists in 95, 90 before that. I remember when I was in the Army in 1983, 1984, 1985. Terrorists were people. There was people supposedly putting on suicide vests, and not necessarily all terrorists were of the Middle East. Right. There was in Germany, there was the Baader-Meinhof gang. They were actually suspected of blowing up the concourse in the Frankfurt airport in 1985, I believe it was. I went down there right after it happened. There was also the Irish Republican Army, the IRA, were considered terrorists. So terrorists are basically defined as anybody that's trying to use violence against the government to try to, topple it, overthrow it, or get them to change what they're doing.
Right. And then after 01, terrorist became synopsis with Arabic.
Right. Islamists. Yeah. Radical Islamists. See, that was another buzzword that they tried to throw in on us. They throw these buzzwords, and they often accompany it with imagery.
It should have been just Islamist, but it became, unfortunately, because not all of them are, it became every Arabic person in your block.
Mm-hmm.
During that time period, which is sad because that's not true. But
right. Well, it's now gone to the idea anyone that poses a possible threat to the United States government,
which could be domestic. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, if it's all about what side of the fence you're on, let's take a look at our founding fathers from a British standpoint, right? Those were terrorists.
They were.
Those people that threw all the tea into the harbor, those were fucking terrorists. They disguised themselves as Indians and shit, and they broke shit all up and everything, right? That was an act of terrorism. The revolutionaries, that's treason. You went up against the crown. And my God, George Washington, a former commissioned officer in the employ of the British Army in the Americas here, he fought in the French Indian Wars on the side of the British. And here he is heading up a revolutionary army against the crown. Well, man, so what would have happened what would history say had they lost? or we know it was a big stage show anyways. We didn't really defeat the largest empire in the fucking world with a bunch of
militia.
Yeah, no, that didn't really happen, but we like to celebrate and pretend that it did. So could you imagine if it went the other way, right?
Well, he would have
they
been
hanged,
beheaded.
they
Yeah.
would have hanged all the signers of the Declaration of Independence, and those that supported it. They would have probably imposed strict sanctions on the civilian population until they could, figure out who's making rumblings and who isn't. So you would see it as a different story. George Washington would not be viewed as a hero. He would be a traitor. These people would look all in a totally different light, because after all, it's written by the victors, and in this case, they let us look like we were the victors of the great experiment. So
yeah, then you put Mel Gibson in a movie called The Patriot and fucking brainwash everybody. And there you go.
Well, his character in that movie was like a mixture of like 5 different real people, supposedly. And there were some, I have to say there, when you get down to the indomitable spirit of freedom, there's nothing as tenacious as a people that are fighting for their freedom and for their homes. This is why it never really works real good when we're sending our people over to like some other fucking shithole. They got to stay there and endure it for the next couple of, certain amount of months, and then they get to come home. It's different. This is why it took them so long to even secure Fallujah in Iraq. That was just one city. Because there's nothing as tenacious as people that are fighting for their homes and their freedom and their families. We were an invading force. So I got to give those people a lot of respect for the resistance that they put up.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit of a different story when you have it go like that. And so even during the Civil War, the War of Northern Aggression, the Confederates were usually outnumbered, greatly outnumbered, outgunned, and outsupplied. However, the tenacious spirit, as long as it remained a defensive war, was indomitable. It couldn't be beaten. But as soon as it turned into an aggressive war on the side of the South, in other words, they tried to go north. That when they were originally going by the doctrine of, hey man, we don't mean you any harm. In fact, Governor Letcher said that we mean you no harm whatsoever. But if you try to invade us, we will fight you. And that was Governor Letcher of Virginia wrote that letter to Lincoln. And it wasn't until there was actually an incursion into Virginia at Manassas Junction. They call it Bull Run, which is actually about 20 miles south of there. They met resistance, and very, very fierce resistance, because here was their army, the newly formed Grand Army of the Republic, and they come marching in. In fact, there was people setting up on the hillsides. They came from Washington and surrounding areas to come watch the war. Picnic baskets and all kinds of shit. And here's this groups of militia from not only Virginia, but South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, dressed in all different forms of uniforms. In fact, there was a Confederate unit of militia there that were still wearing the Revolutionary style tri-corner hats and jackets. And it was really quite a menagerie. And they ended up routing the Union Army, the Grand Army of the Republic, all the way down Route 3 to where the roads were choked with civilians and soldiers trying to get the fuck away. It was I'm sure, a very amazing sight. Incidentally, just a little bit of a coincidence in history. During that battle at Manassas, there was this guy that a cannonball Now you got to figure this was like the first major battle of the Civil War. A cannonball crashed right through the side of his house into his living room, right? And he was like, all right, after that battle, he was like, this shit's nuts. He said, this is too close to home. He says, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So he moved. He sold his farm and he moved south. And he ended up buying a house and a farm there and living in a place called Appomattox, Virginia. You ever heard of that place?
No, where's that at?
Okay, that's where Lee surrendered to Grant, was in Appomattox, Virginia. In fact, in the same guy's living room.
Oh, no shit.
The guy whose house was hit by a cannonball in Manassas, Virginia, it was his living room in Appomattox where they signed that surrender act. So
Yeah,
the war literally started and ended in his front room.
Yeah. When they tried to cross the fucking Piedmont is when shit got weird.
Yeah, I'm hoping Andy will show up. I'm not trying to shift gears too quick, but somebody just asked about Andy. Andy showed up on the show last night after obviously drinking quite a bunch of alcohol. He had the desire to stop drinking. He actually dumped his alcohol out in the sink, which was admirable, man. I got deep respect for that right there, because that's a hard fucking thing to do for an alcoholic or somebody who's having trouble with that. And I'm hoping he went by my advice and found himself an AA meeting, some people that can help support him outside of here, because I can't be on here 24 hours a day. But a lot of times those meetings, and there's places where you can go where they have those meetings like every other hour and stuff, man. So I'm hoping that his desire is enough, but also, sometimes people, they get to thinking, and they don't really think, maybe their ass hasn't been kicked enough. So they go out there and continue to get their ass kicked. But eventually, people will come to a bottom and, hopefully do something about it. And hopefully nothing bad happens before then. So I'm really hoping to hear from him. I hope he shows back up. And if he watches on the rebroadcast, I hope he's doing good. I hope he's keeping with it. That first 48 hours is probably the fucking hardest, man.
Wait, what happened, Saul? I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
Oh, a guy with a problem with alcohol came on last night.
Oh, okay. Was he fucked up?
Yeah. But I said, well, where's your liquor right now? I said, are you serious about quitting? He said, yeah. I said, where's your liquor right now? And he showed me the bottle. I says, dump it down the sink. Do it on camera. And he did.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
But so, the thing is, I'm and hey, I'm not gonna holler at nobody or anything else like that. They say, I failed. I got up and I went and I got liquor and I drank. It's like, well, that's your choice. But like I said, maybe you just you decided that you hadn't had your ass kicked good enough, and maybe you just want to have it kicked even worse. But that's up to you, man.
Was he reaching out for help, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it certainly was. And listen, I've got people who from in this show that have stopped drinking because of what I've said about alcohol, and some of the testimonials that I've given about things how alcohol works. And I'm real proud of them. Greg B's one. He's in the chat right now. I think Austin Murphy, another. There's a few people I've had them, email me or message me that they're thanking me for, putting them in that direction. And I'm not out here. I don't preach that shit, about it. But I do make no bones about it, what it is, how it works, and why it's not a good thing. But, in the end, your choices are your choice. Free will, baby. Free will.
I mean, if it's become a problem and it's fucking your life up, you need to chill out with it, but also go get the help you need.
See, this is the problem with the alcohol, though. It'll make you, it gives you false ego, right? And so what you end up doing, what you end up doing is you start looking for justifications. It wasn't my fault. It was because of this, that, and the other. You're always looking at the outside. It's not you. And the reason you drink is because you have to put up with those things that are actually directly related to you drinking in the first fucking place. You see?
Yeah.
See what it is?
Yeah. So it causes, you may go into it with a problem, but then when you come out of it, you have like 5 more problems.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, it's like, if you become, I don't know this guy you're talking about, Andy, but if you're crushing like a 5th of vodka or Jack Daniels, that's nothing good's gonna come from that, I mean, the most minimum thing is you wake up with a really bad hangover, right?
Oh, I don't miss that at all. I don't miss that. I hate that. It's just yeah, yuck. Yuck. I start to even just remembering about it, I start to like go, yeah, I don't even want to go there because I've had some doozies in my time. But yeah, I hope Andy's doing good. I hope
yeah.
I
hope so too. Yeah, Andy, if you're listening, man, just keep at it, brother.
Yeah, man.
Go to the meeting, bro.
Yeah, don't drink or smoke. Keep your mind straight. Jerry says, well, Jerry Albert said that. And let's see. Salad says, I walk. Yeah, man. His endorphins are released when you go for a walk, especially if you go for a walk in nature amongst the trees, the true earth antennas that bring energy down, vibrations down from upward. Yeah, man. Commune with the forest. It's awesome.
Dude, a walk is great. It sounds funny, but I take my fucking cat for a walk, dude, on my property here. It's good. I got about 3 acres here, so in the woods. So I fucking take my cat around, let her walk and shit. So
I usually have to drive to some place like that, because I'm in town, but I don't have to drive very far. And I ain't going to walk too far from where I park because I just don't like to walk as much as I used to. It's just, it's tiring. I got a bad hip, so.
Well, that'll do it. Yeah.
This is really interesting. I'm going to play this while I'm gone. I'll be right back.
Why is Larry Ellison trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery? He just bought Paramount. Why does he want media companies? Why would he? He wants to hang out with movie stars? No. He's a fucking ego problem? What does he do now? He runs the largest data storage and processing company? Why? Well, before founding his company called Oracle, he worked on a project for the CIA called Oracle, where he was paid to build a database for the government. And so he probably has and knows how to get data on all of us. Good. I don't get how this is all somehow connected. You just said it's connected, so you must know. He also wants mass surveillance. He said citizens will be on their best behavior because we'll be recording and reporting everything that's going on. And he also said the government should consolidate all of the national data and feed it to AI. And all of this is connected how? I don't really know. It's in your head. You just have to find it. What does this have to do with owning an entertainment company? You already said it's connected. Just tell me how. Well, his data centers are the ones that OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, relies on. And if he owns the data centers, no matter what AI company pulls ahead, he'll have control over where it's all stored. So he's put himself in a position that even when the AI bubble bursts, he'll succeed no matter what. And so he's buying media companies so that he can create AI-generated content. Good. But what if no one watches it? You think he hasn't thought of that? The TikTok deal? Why? He's reported to be that leader of the group of investors making a bid to buy TikTok. More? Well, he also has the data to do hyper-targeting so that people get a tailored algorithm of AI content. And so it's about control. He wants to control the information we get through AI, the media we see. It won't be entertainment though, will it? It will be propaganda that looks like entertainment. Good. And so while everyone's focusing on what the administration's doing, Larry Ellison is quietly building this empire. The worst kings are quiet.
I think they're building one of those data centers like that near here somewhere.
They're all over now, brother. You notice your energy bill gone up?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. What was this one? I forgot I had ginger snap cookies, man.
Oh, dude, those are
so
fucking
good.
dank. Yeah.
My wife don't like hard cookies. Like I like hard cookies. She always gets them soft cookies, and it's like I like
Yeah.
soft cookies if they're soft because they just came out of the oven.
The oven, right? Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm like, no, they're artificially soft. You don't want them being artificially soft.
Yeah, what are them brands? They have like the chewy version of like the fucking Chips Ahoy bullshit, but
Yeah.
it's chewy. Yeah, I'm good.
I got some Chips Ahoy in there that are the hard kind. That's the kind I like.
Those are better, yeah.
Huh? I'm a cookie freak, man.
You're
There
a
you
cookie
go.
monster.
I can't use that though. I got a cookie monster in the chat. I think he was here earlier. Anyway, Ryan S. He uses a cookie monster for his thing, for his avatar.
Oh, hey, hi. Did you hear that APAC is crashing out right now? Yeah, look at this shit. Wild.
It says APEC members individually support candidates of their choice, just like all Americans are able to do. Now radicals are trying to demonetize and blacklist millions of our members from participating in the political process because they disagree with their views. I don't know how that works.
On top of that, X has removed, disabled its translation feature, its widget, for Hebrew, for Israeli speak. It's like they don't want us to see what they're saying or something. Gee, I wonder why people are mad at APAC. Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that the former fucking mayor of New York City has officially gone to Israel. He's there right now, and he just told them all, I wanted y'all to know I served you well as mayor of New York City. What? Oh, not the... Bro. Anyways, it's an awful shame that the Israeli embassy got lit on fire in Mexico. Tragedy. I cannot understand why anyone would think to do that. I guess I should say disclaimer, I do not condone violence or lighting anything on fire. If you want to support the channel, though, you could buy one of these Building 7s did not Epstein itself.
That's perfect. I love that. Man. I love it.
I'll let your boy.
But see, it still goes along, and that's another one I don't buy that he's dead either. Epstein?
Yeah, nah.
No.
Well, I mean, it's yeah.
Listen, I don't buy. Soon after that, I remember there was some shit going around where he was seen from a drone walking around. There's Ryan.
There he is.
Popular. Oh man. But yeah, it's just like the Charlie Kirk thing, you know. They're like, well, we got to find out who assassinated him. And I'm like,
Others discovery.
Assassinated him. Nobody did. There was no assassination took place.
No. You got to wonder, Sav, if Charlie Kirk was seen walking around Times Square, would anybody still fucking care, dude?
They would go, oh, that guy looks kind of like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but it couldn't be him. We saw him die on TV, right?
Mhm.
Just like we saw the fucking moon landing.
They've taken it as a foregone conclusion that he's been killed, but I ain't buying it.
The same fucks that told us that they landed on the moon. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, they're good ones.
God, dude.
Oh, this is a little disconcerting. Listen to this.
Disney and Google bought the rights to the King James Bible. Have you ever heard anything scarier in your life? Why would they do that? If you're an atheist or an agnostic or anything, ask yourself, why would Disney have any interest in the Holy Bible?
Wow, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, the copyright was held by the British Crown on the King James Bible.
Yeah,
Now,
as it should be. Yeah.
I understand that the Crown actually owns Disney World,
Okay.
that it's part of Britain, part of the, royal realm.
Wow.
So there's that connection there.
That's crazy.
But see, Disney's also, that's a media company. What would they want the rights to the King James Bible for?
Dude, all you atheists and agnostics, that's a good question. Why would Disney have an interest in that?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, like that's
Don't make any sense, does it?
what is going to come of this is my question.
Oh, look, Laura Loomer went to fucking Israel, right? What happened to her face? Look at this.
What the fuck?
I probably couldn't even get a job at McDonald's 10 years ago because of the way that the media viciously smeared me, trying to make it out to seem like I was some KKK member or, I was some Klansman.
What the fuck is that?
I have no idea, man. I think she went to a plastic surgeon in Israel or something and got ripped off.
Jeez. That is not a human being, in my opinion. So
No, that's some kind of a monster.
Yeah.
That's some kind of a monster.
My opinion, but yeah, that did not look human. So
Here we go. This is why they haven't released the Epstein files. Did you hear that dog barking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Moon Shadow outside. That's how
Wow.
loud he is.
Jeez, what kind of dog?
German Shepherd.
Oh, yeah. All right.
That's the only time. She don't bark when somebody comes to the door, even though. But when she goes outside, she goes out there and barks at the other dog. Peanut.
Is it Sasquatch or is it Dogman out there?
No. Peanut's out there, and Peanut can't go take a shit in peace without her barking at her. Poor thing. Anyway.
Guys, politicians get caught all the time now touching kids. And as bad as that is, we're kind of numb to it now because there's so much of it. So the slow drips worked. The way they're protecting this stuff, it's not that. It's cult stuff. It's going to be pictures of that man or men in a robe in a circle with Moloch behind him, or videos of someone strapped to a table, or maybe a certain temple that's not really a music room, or a sundial with those same Satanists in those same robes screaming against Satan, performing a sacrifice. And the men and women in the pictures and video will recognize them. They'll be elected members of U.S. government, world leaders, Hollywood, royalty, you name it. Putin already told us, 17 told us, the New World Order worships Satan. This is why there's chaos around the Epstein files. Think bigger, think worse. Once those pictures and videos are released, their bases will not just leave them. They'll run as fast as they can away from the entire party. And it has to be indisputable, which I think it will be, so they can't claim they were filming a movie or it was AI. Trump probably is protecting people. It's probably us. This is much bigger than just spirit cooking, guys. Even Anons may be shocked at who gets exposed, probably still with kids, but also irrefutably mid-cult worship.
I'm sure Trump's trying to protect us.
So really think about this. Their action and inactions on both sides makes a lot more sense when you realize, yes, it's still about the kids, but it's also about the cult.
Thank you to Satan for giving me inspiration on how to play this role.
His question: does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? And you know what? Yes. Epstein Isle, what is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship? Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colors, design, and symbols above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When? How often? Why? Vladimir Putin, the New World Order, worships Satan. And he did say that. He said the time of them stuffing their stomachs with human flesh and their pockets with money are coming to an end. The monster ball is about to end. That Putin said that, man.
Yeah, I can believe it. That Christian Bale thanking Satan. That's not the Red Hot Chili Peppers did the same thing when they won a Grammy or something, and they're like they thank Satan for it. It's in plain sight, dude.
Let's see. Speaker Mike Johnson says that releasing the Epstein files without redactions could pose a national security risk. How?
Why? How?
Yeah.
How would that? Yeah.
How is it a matter of national security when you covering up crimes?
It sounds like you're trying to protect people when you make that statement.
Well, and that tells me that part of your national policy is to do criminal acts. That's what it tells me.
Yeah.
It tells me that part of your national policy is to do illegal things. I can't do it.
Yeah. Again, it's not a political issue.
No.
It's nothing to do with that.
Well, I think Green put this out here pretty good today.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. I was called a
That's think about that. She was one of his most ardent supporters, but because she won't back down, why does he want to keep from releasing that so badly? Especially if it's just a hoax. What's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
So he turns on her that venomously because she won't back down from wanting to release him. That's
right.
That's pretty telling. That's pretty telling, if you ask me.
It's fishy. It's very fishy.
Well, I mean, what are you supposed to infer from that? I mean, and shit, he ran on the platform of release those files and this, that, and the other, right? But also, you look at his first time, he said, lock her up. And as soon as his ass got in that seat, that was it. Oh, we don't care about that anymore. They're good people. Leave them alone.
Dude, he ran on that in 16. Yeah.
Yeah. And then reneged on it immediately, just like I said he would.
But the problem is because during that time period, the economy wasn't actually too bad. So, Trump did a good job.
Well, he didn't have really anything to do with it.
There wasn't much to do, though. That's what I was, yeah.
Well, the thing is the president don't have fucking dick to do with that, except when you start imposing these tariffs and shit, which are an end run for taxation around the fucking Congress.
Yeah.
These executive orders, he's going absolutely bonkers with these fucking executive orders.
I thought Obama did, he was signing a lot of those things, but right? Remember, his first thing was the car companies that he fucking He bailed out, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing is just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
People
I
still
don't
just go with it. But I'm serious. That pisses me off so bad. Call national security. Everybody goes, oh, okay. No, motherfucker. If that's part of your national policy is to do illegal shit, we need to know about it and you need to stop doing it. No wonder people want to blow us up and shit like you say. But no wonder. Because you're a bunch of criminals. Fuck you. That's what something, I would have no problem saying that shit right to Trump's face. I'm not intimidated by anybody's position. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Did you catch the show when we actually had Trump on here?
No, I did not.
Oh man, you need to go back and check that out. Listen, this guy came on here and he was doing Trump so good. Even his responses, like to different, exactly the way, dude, I was starting to second guess myself. I was like, this really could be him? Because around that time, Barron was encouraging him to go and talk on different platforms and shit, talk to the people out there on YouTube. Yeah. And I was like, this could actually be him. But you go onto my videos and you'll see there's a video there called Donald Trump shows up on my show or something like that. You'll see it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's under videos. Oh, shit. This was a few months ago. I think it was before the election.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Anyway, let me see I forgot what this was. Don't matter.
Call me a conspiracy theorist, but there ain't no way that on Friday, Candace Owens posts this to her story and then goes on her podcast and makes an episode saying this.
Is that when companies or individuals get too big and become too powerful, they send their agents to control them, to make sure that they are able to control their messaging. And if they cannot control those individuals, they will stage some sort of a hostile takeover of that brand or of that company or of that particular person. And there's a number of ways that can be accomplished. First and foremost, the psychosis. She's having a mental breakdown. She needs a break. She's really tired. Brittany's been put on a Psych 5150 hold. Kanye, he said he was just reading a Bible, and Harley Pasternak, and we got into his backstory, and MK Ultra suddenly puts him in a hospital on a Psych 5150 hold, and somehow his wife, I guess, was cool with that at the time, being Kim Kardashian.
And then goes on to read an email about somebody who wrote this email to her.
It's really just the Mossad agents who now are mostly with the Kardashians.
But wait, there's more. There was also this.
Remember My Chemical Romance? The drummer, well, he had an overdose at the right time, right? Kind of a crazy story. The drummer posts this onto Twitter. This was October of last year. This is Bob Breyer. He writes, easy answer for that. Don't forget that Lou Taylor was my business manager for 18 years. We just separated in September because the Kardashians are the slimiest pile of garbage on the planet. They make a shitload of money, way more than I do, kind of like prostitutes. Anyways, I cannot be associated with them. Maybe Kendall, because she's kind of real and has an SF90 that I could drive. They actually have blood on their hands, and I know everything.
And then I shit you not, I wake up on Sunday to see that the Kardashians had a sleepover with Brittany.
Oh, we're just chilling.
Ain't no fucking way you can convince me that is a coincidence. Not a chance.
I've been saying they're like Armenian Jew witches, those Kardashian broads. They fuck up every dude they come in contact with.
Was that Britney Spears?
Yeah, that blonde chick was, yeah.
Good God, dude.
She looking
what happened
rough.
to her?
Yeah, she been kind of going off the rails, dancing with knives, filming herself dancing with knives in her bikini and shit like that. And
jeez.
Yeah,
she was hot in the late 90s. I'll say that.
She was one of those MK Ultra monarch
Yeah.
sex slaves.
Yeah.
Okay, and Disney made a bunch of them. She was one of them Disney girls. And they all crack. They all lose their shit after a while. They all start to lose their shit after a while. That's like a byproduct of the conditioning. And who was that? Amanda Bynes. You think about it. Every one of these fucking one of these Disney kids grows up to be something fucked up. Every one of them. And there's a long history of as a result of a lot of this, of drug abuse and suicide amongst child actors as they get older in Hollywood. It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So what happened? The drummer of My Chemical Romance, he was hooked up with one of the Kardashians.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. That's kind of like more pop culture than what I'm into these days.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you any of their songs, to tell you the truth. You know,
Okay.
A lot of the new music, I'm like, computerized fucking horse shit, man. Go back to talent, you know.
That was like, they were popular like in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
I mean, they still are, but they got famous during that time, which music was actually still okay back then.
Well, it's like I remember when there was a period there with bands like Pearl Jam and shit like that, you know. And it was like I like Pearl Jam. I don't understand halfway don't understand nothing that motherfucker's singing, you know, but I like it, you know. And they were like, "All the way, I'm working on a well," you know. I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck he's saying, you know.
Yeah,
I'm working on a winner.
my band actually does that song and a couple other Pearl Jam songs.
Does he go, on the weekend, I'm a wizard on a whale?
Yeah, it's you're talking about Yellow Ledbetter.
Yellow Ledbetter, yeah.
Yeah.
Freezing, rest his head on a pillow made of concrete.
Even flow.
Yeah.
That's not bad, Soft. That's not bad.
What was that one? At home, drawing pictures of mountaintops with him on top. Lemon yellow sun, arms raised in a V, and the dead lay in pools of maroon glow. Mama never gave attention, and that boy was something mommy wouldn't wear, something like that. I forget. It's been
Jeremy,
30 years. Yeah, Jeremy. It was like,
he was like considered, Pearl Jam was like the classic rock grunge band because you had like you had Nirvana, you had Alice in Chains, and then Pearl Jam.
Screaming Trees, Mother Love Bone. In fact, that's where Soundgarden and Pearl Jam actually came from, was from Mother Love Bone.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Andrew Wood, the singer for Mother Love Bone, they had a big signing party when they got their first record contract, and he fucking OD'd and died.
Oh, shit.
If you've ever heard the album Temple of the Dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a collaborative effort because they were all friends with Andy Wood.
Oh.
And so when Mother Love Bone broke up, they, after Andy Wood died, they kind of split. And so some members went to Soundgarden and some went to Pearl Jam.
Oh.
They all lived in the same building together.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
In Seattle, yeah.
Well, Chris Cornell, he went on to do Audio Slave with the guitar player from Rage Against the Machine.
Yep.
Tom Morello, right?
Soundgarden was a badass band, man. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. The 90s had some great music, man.
That's about where I dropped out, man. That's about where I dropped out. I was like, yeah, this new shit's kind of like came out of a fucking candy bar wrapper or something. It's like it was all fluffed up and I don't know. I guess everybody has that kind of point in time.
No,
one more quarter. Have you ever heard and anybody, you ever heard of Richard Cheese?
I haven't, no.
Oh my God, this guy, okay. He does like he'll do Alice in Chains, Man in the Box.
Yeah.
But it's all done like lounge music. It's I'm the man in the box.
Jeez. Actually, yeah, I have heard that.
In my shit.
Yeah, I have heard that actually.
Welcome to the Jungle. He does
Yeah,
a whole
he
bunch of
fucks
different
all these
jams like
songs
that.
up.
It's funny as hell.
It's funny though, yeah, it is.
Yeah, we did. Mustang. We did a little bit of Richard Cheese on the show. Yeah, you can just call him Dick.
Dick Cheese, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the joke. Anyway, wow. Here's these. Now listen to this. Here, do they know they're talking about a Jew here? Okay. Somebody said Jesus Christ saved Donald Trump so that he could save America. Which is not fucking bullshit.
Deny him. We secure his family, his children, his calling, and everything that pertains to what you have called him to carry out. And I ask for divine visitations, that you would continue to give him your wisdom, according to James 1:5, that you would give him the mind of Christ, according to Philippians 2:5, that you said in Psalm 33, that blessed is the nation whose Lord is God. And we just thank you for our fighter of faith and for freedom and for religion, God. And most of all, for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And we give you all the praise and all the glory. Pastor Jensen and Pastor Travis. Pastor Jensen, I know you'll close it out here and pray over him.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there. And let me get done fondling this little boy over here.
It's interesting when you see these things, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go back and it's like, what? Are people actually buying that shit? Ooh.
Well, it would appear most of the Republican Christians in our country are. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. There's a lot of them dropping off of that. You know, even people that I know that were real gung-ho Trump people for quite some time, they're having some buyer's remorse. You know, they're like not as yeah, we're winning, blah blah blah. No, you're not winning. You're not winning, man. It's in fact, it's the opposite of that, because it's like I told everybody before the election. I told them this. I said, look, as soon as that motherfucker gets in, and look, oh, I got more votes than Kamala Harris. Well, so what? That's like bragging about being the smartest kid on the fucking retard bus. You know, I mean, they put you up against a jelly bean, for crying out loud. They put you up against of course you won. It was set up that way.
Jeez.
You know, so you're gonna brag because that's like, you know, yeah, I want to fight against that quadriplegic. Okay, good for you. Well, you're a hero. Crying out loud, man. Did you see the way that he hit me in my fist with his face?
I won a marathon against a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, this is kind of interesting. JT, you know, JT, we were just talking about this shit a little while ago. You know who JT versus follows JC is, right?
Yeah, he does little season stuff a lot.
Yeah, he's got a little thing here on about underneath the White House.
Of course, there's really no way to verify all the stuff that's under the White House. And of course, again, I'm not telling anyone anything new by saying, hey, it goes down lower. But I think it's interesting. This is one of these early illustrations of the White House. Just tell me how weird this picture kind of looks, this painting.
Freemasons.
You see how windows are all below the ground level right there? It's like the dirt is up over them.
They're digging it out. Dirt over the windows.
Yeah, it looks like it's being dug out. It's so stupid. I mean, what I'm saying is it makes no practical reason why you have that. And especially if you know you have all these sub-ground floors, why would you still have windows that are partially covered by the ground and partially above the ground?
Or that was created more modern. That painting was created more modern, and they want us to believe that they actually designed it with the windows being half buried.
It's funny when you actually see pictures of the White House, though, like the actual pictures, you won't really be able to see that because they have like hedges. Like, look, if you see that picture right here, you can't see it because they always have hedges in front of everything.
Either that's a picture of them digging it up, not building it, or that was created more modern, and they want us to believe it's them building it with the design intentionally being that the windows are underground for whatever reason.
Yeah, because that makes a lot of sense to do. It comes in real handy, especially when it rains or you get a minor flood, because everybody knows that it's good to have windows right there at the fucking ground level. What
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That goes back to the whole Little Caesar thing with all the other architecture that you were talking about in
Of
Germany.
course, there's really no way to verify.
You stop talking. I fixed it. What is this? Uh-oh. Here we go. Get ready. There's a thing went out 4 hours ago. The New York Post is reporting that a Washington man is critically ill after contracting an unpredictable virus that has never been observed in humans before. Are you scared?
Oh, fuck me, dude. I'm screwed.
Yeah, that's it. Get the masks out. Tell 3M to start cranking out them 6-foot distance stickers for the floor and shit, and the little arrows. I couldn't believe that shit. And you know, that was really telling how fast they had that shit.
Oh, it was already ready to go, dude. The fucking stickers, the goddamn all the shit was already printed and ready to go.
Yep.
It happened overnight, basically. Did it not? I mean, it seemed like to me it did.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't. It's too planned. You know, that was obvious right off the bat. I'd go to a place and somebody'd say, they'd say, "Oh, do you have a mask?" You know, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not in that." They just look at you like, "What are you talking about?" No, I'm not in that. I'm not doing that.
I'll never forget the first time I went to Wawa. It was like whenever this bullshit started. And everyone's wearing a mask. I'm like, what the fuck are these dumbasses doing? I hadn't heard like, oh, this is a thing now. Like, because I was on the road a lot. I was driving to Pennsylvania a lot, and I saw like the big ass signs on the Beltway of like COVID-19, this, that, and the other. Or I'm sorry, COVID. I don't know.
Oh my God! Listen to this here. This is shit. This ties right in with what I was saying earlier.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
And they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. Or something, keep it on show.
What do you do for work here?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies, and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
But those files do exist.
Oh my! He said he's going to be the acting chief. I bet you ain't now. I bet you won't be acting as no deputy chief now. Yep, and those are currently being scrubbed about an hour or so north of me in Winchester, Virginia. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
What happened to that? That said it was new shit. Says Epstein's brother just cracked the code. You're going to see more and more of that fucking guy.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, says the reason why the GOP is fine releasing the Epstein files now is because they have been scrubbing the names of any Republicans from the files.
I've been recently told The reason they're going to be releasing these things, and the reason for the flip, is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out. That's what I was told by a pretty good source.
Okay, so they're taking the names out of the files. He says that's what he's been told from a pretty good source. It could be true, could be not true. You know, now Trump is saying it's fine, release the files, it's fine. But apparently Trump was so upset about or worried about the Epstein files being released that perhaps Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, is onto something when he says they were scrubbing them, because allegedly Trump and some of his cronies, they actually went to the Situation Room to have a conversation about what to do in regards to the Epstein files being released. Now you're just validating all of our suspicions that it was Israel, a foreign country, and that is why you have to sit in the war room to decide how this implicates and how this affects foreign policy.
Sources are telling CNN the top Trump administration officials held a meeting on this issue, not just at the White House, but in the Situation Room. According to multiple sources, the meeting was said to have included the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Could you be more obvious that Epstein was an asset of Mossad, an asset of Israel? And now you're sitting in the Situation Room to discuss what are the implications of this? What blackmail are we going to be losing? Or how many of us have been blackmailed by this? And how many of us are going to be exposed for the fact that we've been conducting American foreign policy at the behest of Israel because we're all under blackmail? Here is top spy Ari Ben-Menashe validating that Epstein was in fact working for Israel, which gives us, again, all the more reason why these guys were sitting in the Situation Room having this discussion, why Epstein's brother Mark says, yeah, they're scrubbing all the names, because there's some national security implications to this, because Epstein was actually an Israeli asset.
The most alarming allegations that you've been making are that the entire Epstein operation was a honey trap operation to entrap politicians, policymakers, celebrities, people in the media, basically to become Israel's assets.
Correct. It became basically an intelligence operation to entrap different politicians.
I think we all know at this point exactly what the whole mission was, and clearly it was successful because our politicians are completely in the pocket of Israel.
God. Is there anything else? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you said exactly what I was just saying. Is there any doubt? I mean, there's just too much. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire, but where there's a lot of smoke, there's a lot of fire. And there's a lot of fucking smoke. Or a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Nice. Hello. How are y'all?
How you doing, Ryan? RG.
RG. Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm here, brother. Nothing to do with here. Man, I don't know how to say this, but I just got to come out and say it because I'm blunt like that. But so I finally fucking put it all together, pieced it together, and it's not pretty, man. It's fucking ugly what they did last year in Antarctica, bro, and they fucking pulled us all in. But anyway, dude, I don't know where else to go because I don't have an audience like that. But
Right.
if you're cool with it, I do want to give it to, man, I want to just fucking lay it all out there and let you decide what you want to do with it. But
All right.
it's not pretty, bro. It's fucking, it's disgusting. And yeah, they did a literal experiment, and it's documented from top to bottom, from the highest in NASA to the fucking liars that went. Yeah, man. That what they did is you know how I kept coming on here and just kind of hinting around and poking the bear, trying to see how everybody felt about these South Pole stations and ice cube neutrino detectors, shit like that, and you know, like cosmic energy they call it.
Right.
So yeah, they built a huge high altitude platform that pulls in the highest cosmic energy and fucking blasts it back out by orders of magnitude, like of what they can detect. Right, they're attracting this energy, and then through radio frequency and other means, they're using this platform up there as as a 1-month experiment in Antarctica. And it's called, it's a funny name. It's called PUEO, PUEO. And its predecessor was ANITA, ANITA, that they did from 2016. They launched it from Hawaii, but they did it in between. But and also Union Glacier, I found out, is a site for fringe, quote unquote, fringe or private experimentation. Get that shit. And there's a 23-page document that shows the actual machine. And there's documentation, flight log lists, and everything that a flat earther would need to just do a deep dive. And yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I really stopped concerning myself with fucking
Right.
what was it, TFE or whatever?
TFE, yeah.
We already know it was just a big fucking bunch of shit, you know. There's
Right.
a lot of compelling theories about how they fake shit and everything, and that's all well and good. It was just a big distraction. Where we are with it is exactly where we were before anybody went there.
Right, until now. Trust me. Just, man, I can't stress enough that what they're doing with the distraction. No, don't trust me like that. Not like that, bro. I'm talking about, I'm going to give you the documents, information, pictures, group. It even shows the group of fucking scientists. Crazy. But I don't want to blabber on about it. I'll give it to you, bro.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it. And
send it to my email.
Nice. Right on. What is your email? Hold on.
It's coming across the screen. You'll see.
Okay, cool.
It says email.
Yeah, dude, I'm shocked. I'm like in shock, bro. Like, we all know it was a lie, but now that it's like, it's weird that it's happening right this second when
seeing it,
everybody's about to go to war, the president stuff. Like,
RG?
yeah. What's that?
Are you seeing the email address go by?
Yep. Rumble.com/user.
No, that's not the email address. You started blabbing.
Oh, shit.
I'm trying to show it to you. It's
I
in
got you.
the description, isn't it?
It may be. I'm on the StreamYard right in a second. 1 second. I can do it. You may drop it in the private chat backstage.
Yeah, do
Would
that.
be easier. That way you could be
Just
convenient.
pay attention as it's going by right now. Again.
Gotcha. I'm looking. PayPal.me. And then I got you. All right. I'm gonna mute up so I don't like ruin the show or nothing.
Right on.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right, man. What's up with this thing here? There it is. Okay, so this I thought was kind of crazy. 1933. What happened in 1933? A lot of shit. The United States declared itself bankrupt. It was the first year they issued out the birth certificate. It was exactly 20 years after the Federal Reserve was established. And this was a pivotal year. Things were starting to happen in Europe. Well, this was happening. We also had the Chicago World's Fair. 125,000 people watched a Jewish-produced pageant that literally reenacting the passing a child through the fire to Moloch. Watch this.
Auspices of the Jewish Agency for Palestine. The romance of a people, which the Jewish Agency for Palestine supported and sponsored, was the highlight of Jewish Day at the Chicago World's Fair. It was really something that there even existed a Jewish Day at the fair. There were a lot of ethnic days, and we'll talk a little bit about how Jewish Day came to be one of them. But it was the highlight. It would use a chorus of over 3,500 people. Colossal stage properties, as you can imagine, amplified sound, the very latest in lighting effects, music that spanned 4,000 years of Jewish history and experience in diaspora. And you may ask, how could a minority population coming under attack, as it was, assert its pride so forcefully at an international exposition? And the answer lies,
Isn't that crazy? They had that. That's a huge production. Look at that. That's a huge fucking production. Look at that.
For 1933?
Yeah. And then you see this. Let me see if you see this set. Look at that. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can't see. Shit. Ha! There it is. I mean, that's an elaborate fucking setup. Look at this back here. Look at all those fucking people. Giant Moloch statue. Or he puts the kid in that like delivery box. See, watch this.
of over 3,500 people, colossal stage properties, as you can imagine, amplified sound, the very latest in lighting effects, music that spanned 4,000.
That's insane, man.
These fucking world fairs are also tied in with the little season theory.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. What were they actually doing? Let me see here. I'm just looking through here and seeing what I run across. This is some wild shit. Dinosaurs ain't real, and neither is the story of evolution. This is how they make those. You're gonna like this.
Be crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones. The original bones, the remains of a certain flying beast that's been documented all throughout history, mentioned by every single ancient culture. Yeah, nigga, dragons. The bones from previous resets and catastrophes and whatever other genetic monstrosities the civilization before us created in their eugenics labs are locked away, unavailable for independent research. Shocking, I know.
Didn't call them dinosaur, they called them dragon. The word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. It's a brand new word in the dictionary. I got some old dictionaries and looked for the word dinosaur. Even in 1891, the word was not in the dictionary. They called them dragons. Bible mentions dragons 34 times.
Dinosaurs were invented during the 19th century, at the same time that Darwinism was being promoted as the new account of life on Earth. The coincidence was deliberate, because the creation of enormous reptiles from the imagined ages before mankind gave dramatic form to the theory of evolution. Without dinosaurs, the public would have struggled to imagine millions of years filled with anything meaningful.
Be crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones. The original bones, the remains of a certain flying beast that's been documented all throughout history, mentioned by every single ancient culture. Yeah, nigga, dragons. The bones from previous resets and catastrophes and whatever other genetic monstrosities the civilization before us created in their eugenics labs are locked away.
Oh, I just now figured out what this guy did. He doubled the audio so it made the thing twice as long, but notice how there was no video. He was repeating the same thing. That is interesting. You know, you can't see any real dinosaur bones. They won't let you look at them or nothing like that.
You go to the fucking Smithsonian, all that shit's bullshit, you know. It's like they have all that shit in their basement, in their fucking, you know.
What is this? Oh no, Stu Peters. What is it?
The Smithsonian bullshitters, you know.
Oh yeah, listen, and I thought that was one of the coolest places that we visited when I was in DC as a kid. We went there 8th grade field trip to Washington DC, and we got to go to the Smithsonian Institute. and to the different museums, and it was pretty cool. Saw the Hope Diamond and shit like that, and I at one time had a lot of respect for them, but then I found out what they actually are, and that hasn't been probably but about the last 15 years that I've realized what they actually are. That this idea of preservation of things is actually a destruction of things and a bullshitting of people.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, man. They have all the shit that we took out of Iraq when we first went in there. They have all that shit.
Yeah. Right. 1933, Franklin Roosevelt sworn in. That's one of the first things he did is declared us bankrupt. So what's this? Stu Peters says that Kash Patel was deployed to Utah in his FBI windbreaker to cover up the broad daylight political assassination of Charlie Kirk, which was absolutely carried out by a combination of the Israeli and American regimes. Well, let's hear what Stu has to say about that.
Then you have Kash Patel.
Wait, are we talking about cross-eyed Cash? Oh, look at that motherfucker. Jesus Christ. He always looks like he's doing something wrong too. Like he just got almost got he looks like he almost got caught smoking a joint. Like if you're around a corner hitting a joint and somebody walks around there and you're like trying to hold your hit and not blow it out and hide the joint in your hand. That's the look he's got on his face.
From the very moment that Kash Patel touched down in Utah wearing his FBI windbreaker and bringing with him this team of cameramen to document and dramatize every waking moment of his so-called investigation, the world should have known immediately that a cover-up was in the works. And I think a lot of you did. We knew. Most of you in the audience knew. Or most of the country likely knows that this is a cover-up, whether they want to admit it or not. We have this bug-eyed, documented liar running the FBI. A guy who wakes up every morning worshiping these three-legged demons and spits in the face of Charlie Kirk's Christian faith in the immediate wake of his death by saying that he'll be reunited with him in Valhalla, a place that doesn't exist. And let's not forget that Kash Patel is a guy whose girlfriend is now suing journalists that step out of line as a proxy weapon on behalf of the Trump administration, using the Banal Law Group, which has historically been used by Donald Trump multiple times, was a Kash Patel connected law group for Fight with Cash, the organization that worked with me in a lawsuit against Newsweek, and who I have exchanged emails with. And when that introduction was made, it was really exciting because at the time, these were Trump's lawyers. Those lawyers are now representing the FBI director's girlfriend in a lawsuit against an American journalist who's had to flee the country because he's been doxxed. And meanwhile, the FBI director's girlfriend doesn't have to worry about her safety because she's being protected around the clock by an elite FBI unit. That's who's running the top law enforcement apparatus in this country. That's who's running the FBI. And the reason why is because Kash Patel will do what he's told. That's why he's the FBI director in the first place. This guy isn't a cop. He's not some kind of a law enforcement professional. He doesn't have some advanced thinking investigative mind.
No, he doesn't. I mean, what is actually his fucking qualifications to head the FBI?
He doesn't look like a fucking FBI agent.
No, he looks like what I picture on the other end of the phone where they're trying to fucking screw me on a car warranty or some shit, Oh, your car warranty is expired. You need to renew it through me. Give me credit card number, please.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You try to call customer service.
Hello, Microsoft tech support. My name is Bill. And I'm like, yeah, bullshit. Your name is something like,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So the thing he said, okay, again, the hypocrisy, man. He's for Charlie Kirk, right? Or I don't know what his. So he said we'll see him in Valhalla, right? Well, that's not that's not Christian based theology. So if Charlie Kirk was a Christian, why would you say you would see him in Valhalla? Valhalla is Nordic shit. Yeah, you know.
Well, here's the thing too that you wonder, because there was some speculation to a place on an island off the coast of New Zealand that is like, I guess, a known place where they take witness relocation people to before they take them to another destination or whatever, called Valhalla. I don't know. It was a really odd thing to say, you know.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
And there was a picture of the dude, this what's his name, Tyler Robinson, standing near a computer, and on the computer monitor was a map of that very place.
Ooh, okay.
So there was some pretty crazy shit going on about that. They're making this a convoluted mess, and they've put these little Easter eggs out there for everybody. They got a host of fake shooters for people to try and figure out who it was. Just like in the Kennedy assassination, you've got Umbrella Man. And in this case, we've got the people there doing like umpire hand signals. There's a whole host of all the ordinary things that would be needed for people to sew together conspiracy theories. As long as you go along the story in belief that Charlie Kirk was actually assassinated.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the reality of it is this: Charlie Kirk wasn't assassinated. That was an act, just like Butler, Pennsylvania was. It was a stage show. Okay. No one got killed. But meanwhile, you're convinced that he was killed. And so now you're looking for all the fake, you know, who actually shot him, who is behind, blah, blah, blah. And they've got this whole little drama unfolding for you. It's a whole little drama. The internet's abuzz with this little drama.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing along with it. But it's still concreting the idea that this man was actually killed.
Yeah. It's a soap opera.
Right. So what you mean to tell me, there again, the most advanced law enforcement agency on earth, the FBI, and we also have the CIA and the NSA and all these other fucking outfits. And you mean to tell me that this little fruitcake furry guy that was supposedly his boyfriend, right, just up and disappeared in the wind, like, you know, just up and like a fart in the wind, gone. His history. What the fuck? We can't find him. Nobody knows where he's at. Well, here's the reality of it, is because he didn't really fucking exist. It's that simple. But people never want to go by that. It's just like I said, well, you know, if Trump was on that list, why didn't the Democrats release it? Well, because everybody's on the fucking list. They all go down if that list come out, right? So now they're going to go and scrub it. It's going to be a whole nother fucking scandal. And I can't see in this little political stage show that they're doing how they're going to get him to be able to survive this. Is this what they do to maybe legitimize him going under and putting JD Vance up there so we can just really fly high with the goddamn surveillance tech? Mr. Palantir JD Vance, who's changed his name 3 fucking times.
Yeah. Well, if he gets us into a conflict, I think he can stay in office. Isn't that correct?
Who? Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the thing is, they could 25th Amendment his ass anytime they want to, really. If they can prove that he's incapacitated or something like that. But what I'm saying is that a scandal like this right here people would demand impeachment.
Well, it's the same thing with Bill Clinton and fucking Monica, right?
But worse. And see, now there's another guy who's had 2 blowjobs that both of them were some kind of a scandal. One was Monica Lewinsky and the other one is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
One of those emails said, "Does Putin ask Putin if he has any pictures of from when Trump blew Bubba?" No. That could mean somebody else, not Bill Clinton. I know that Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba. I mean, just saying. I hope it wasn't a horse. I mean, it's bad either way, I think, but whatever. What the hell? JD Vance humped the couch. What the fuck? They're all weirdos. I'm telling you, man. All these motherfuckers that are up in there are weirdos and perverts and drunks and shit. I mean, they're just some of the most vile scum that you could gather up from the earth and place in one area. That's what you have there. I mean, it's just amazing to me.
It is.
And if you ever see these people like in person, they are awful looking. I'm not shitting. I've been up there to DC and I've seen these people without the cameras, without the filters, without the lighting and that shit. And they're awful looking. Their complexions are fucked up. They're just, you can tell that they're just I don't know. They're demons. There is no other way to put it. They're fucking demons.
Yeah. And they are in charge of our system.
Yes.
Think about that.
Oops.
People.
Yeah. In charge of everybody's system. It ain't just here. Look at that group of fruitcakes running the goddamn British. Look at that EU Parliament. What a fucking bunch of miscreants that one is. And they're all like that. They always flock to these power positions. They always do.
Yeah, they fuck within too,
and that's the thing. I've never had any fucking desire to control anybody. I don't want to have to tell people what to do. I really don't. I don't want to be in charge of people. I don't want any of that. And likewise, I don't want nobody doing that to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're a manager of a grocery store. That's one thing, but controlling a country. Well, the police have the same kind of job if you think about it.
Well, they're at war with the people. That's what police are. Let's face it. They don't really. They're not a preventive force. They're not a proactive force. They're a reactive force. So they show up after something happens. Okay. And then in the instances when they don't show up when something happens, they show up and make something happen. Like, I don't know, kick in somebody's fucking door to scream at everybody and hold them at gunpoint and tell them to lay down on the ground, even though they're at the wrong fucking address. This happens all the time.
Yeah, it's self-preservation. So the cops are going to look after each other first and themselves.
Well, why are they doing stuff like that, busting in on people and shit, Why are they constantly enacting violence upon other people who have not enacted violence against anybody else? It'd be one thing if you're going in after a mass murder or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to blast in on somebody because they might have something that you don't want them to have, even though it doesn't hurt. It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that they do. You think about this. What is it when they pull you over? You were going faster than the speed limit. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Well, you're going to be punished for that now. Why? Well, because you could have hit somebody. Well, fuck, you might as well give me the death penalty because I could have went out and murdered somebody too. I could have done any goddamn thing.
It's the whole,
you punish people on what you think they might do.
Well, the whole intention to sell, that came into law. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You get caught with a certain amount of drugs. They say, the intention
to distribute.
Intent, yeah.
Yeah.
So a crime you have not committed, but they think you would commit.
Right. But that's it's like, well, we think that. That's just like how they get away with these labeling somebody as like a domestic terrorist. Why? Well, he said these radical things. Okay. So what? Well, he could, go blow up the mayor's house or, go, rally people together and start a revolution or something like that. Well, yeah, there's a number of things that could happen. You know, you could spontaneously combust into flame right now. Let's worry about what's actually going on. You know?
Yeah. It's that movie Tom Cruise did, Minority Report, right? Where they would bust people. They would say you are guilty of a crime you would have committed in the future.
Yeah.
But so it's the same thing with the whole intent thing.
Yeah, it was the what was it? The Office of Pre-Crime.
Yeah, pre-crime. Like,
what was that guy's name? Was Gideon that was in charge of the prison, right? In Minority Report, his name was Gideon, and that's the name of the surveillance software that they're implementing too, is Gideon.
Oh, geez, really? Gosh, yeah. But that didn't surprise me, man. They put all that shit in plain. Hollywood is nothing more than to show us what is actually going on, but to make it seem like it's fiction.
Yep.
That's their whole job, dude.
Well, the whole thing's a big show. Hollywood and Washington, D.C. are really tightly connected. I love it. Gerald Celente, I don't know if you know who that is. He said, I love this. I use this all the time. He said, politics is just show business for ugly people.
Yeah, I've heard that saying. Yep.
I love it. It's perfect.
It is.
And that's all we got. These people, if they actually think that those representatives are there to represent you, and those congressmen and shit are there for you, they're not, man. That's just fucking part of the corporation.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you got the lobbyists.
Yeah. Anyway, this is pretty good.
The reason, though, I'm told, that Donald Trump decided to bomb Iran was that the Israelis said, for the first time, if you don't bomb Iran to take out these deep bunkers, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And they had never threatened that before. And so Trump said, bombing Iran might actually save us from the start of World War III if it keeps the Israelis from using nuclear weapons.
So according to your source, the Israelis told the president of the United States that if he did not use the United States military power to bomb the nuclear facilities in Iran, Israel, acting on its own, would use nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Do you see why there's a problem with that statement, John?
Yeah.
Because they've never admitted that they've had them.
That's right.
So you're telling me that they just admitted to the president of the United States that they have nuclear weapons and we still do not have them in the IAEA treaty?
I mean, if Israeli nuclear whistleblowers are to be believed, yeah, they've had them. They started working on them in the 50s. They got them around the late 60s or the early 70s. Look at Mordechai Vanunu.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't charged for treason for nothing.
That's the guy who they hid in Rome with the honeypot.
Yeah.
Yeah. 86.
They've been at it being dirty like that shit for a long time. You know, it was formed there again, back around. That is a state that was formed through terrorism. If you look at how the state of Israel came to be, it was through terrorism. And those terrorists that were bombing civilians and blowing up British citizens later became prime ministers of Israel.
Yeah.
Thugs.
Yeah. When are people going to wake up? That's the question.
Yeah, they're not. Well, I don't know. They are. They're starting to, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot better than, I would say, 7 years ago, yeah. But it's like with the general population, it's really a slow trickle, it's very slow. Like they're where we were like in 2014. Like they're just getting there now, It's like welcome to the party, but you're way behind.
I'm trying to see if there's anything new on that being dropped. What was this? April 28th? Oh, covertly. I like covert stuff. Oh God, what is this? Oh, so Trump today said, but they were with Epstein all the time. I wasn't at all. And this is kind of crazy. Let's not forget this exists, right, y'all? I mean, come on, this guy he lies like every time he opens his mouth. They all do. All these
Great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in
Now, see, this is this godly man that preacher was going on about earlier. Remember? This is this godly man who, is supposed to be looking. He's like hanging out with all these chicks and shit.
the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests. Among them, the financier Jeffrey Epstein. More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling Epstein about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances. Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter. But as the president says now, he never...
Look how weird this fucking guy's mouth is.
God, dude. Yeah, that looks fake as shit, dude.
Don't it? Don't it? Look at that. Very like the Joker. Look how wide it is. Look how wide his mouth is. And from what I understand, in his bathroom, he had a fully functional and equipped dental chair.
What?
Yeah, man. And look at his teeth. Look how many. It's like little tiny teeth.
That's not, yeah.
That fucking thing wasn't human.
Like to Epstein.
I was not a...
Jeez. That party, I've been to better parties than that, I'll just say, by the way.
Did that look like almost like reptilian to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. One of the things when they were deposing him, and this is something that a few of the victims of Epstein had said, more than a couple too, that he had a really weird Johnson, that it was egg-shaped, right? And so I heard that and I was like, that's fucking crazy. What's up with that, right? So I Googled egg-shaped penis. And you know what came up? It came up trying to tell me about turtle penises.
Mm-hmm.
That theirs look like that. I was like, ooh. And I thought this guy almost looks like a fucking reptile or something anyways, man. I was like, oh, man.
Those guys are fucking losers, dude. If I were at a party and those two fucking jabronis were there, they'd be the outcast fucking loser bitch ass motherfuckers, you know? Like,
yeah, right?
Fuck those guys, dude.
Just standing there like they can just have any one of this bevy of women if they want to, you know, because of who they are and shit, you know.
All those women are paid to be there.
They can't chat it up right with them, man. They got no game.
They ain't got shit, yeah. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but I feel like I got more game than fucking Epstein and Donald Trump, dude.
Yeah, that's the only thing they had really was power and money. Well, hell, they had to go after little girls.
Which is fucked up, dude. Yeah, and that's
little girls liable to be impressed by all that glitz and glitter.
Because of the money, yeah. I guarantee you most of them adult women there, they were paid to be there or they were...
They're probably one of them. They're probably one of them over 19 years old.
Yeah. I mean, they'd show up because of the status, but...
Yeah.
They're probably, you know, look, can you imagine being one of them women? You look and you see these two fucks there. Like, what the fuck? They're fuck those guys, dude.
Well, you know, and it's like I grew tired. Now, get me wrong, I liked the wit of Donald Trump and the way he would before, not the way he's doing it now, but I mean before how he would kind of quip at the press, you know, when they were being snarky. But now he's gone to where he just anything he don't like what they ask or whatever, he's just going to chastise him and not answer the question. And I guess that's because a lot of people said, yeah, he likes that fake news, and people started using that term, fake news. And so he's just like using that for everything that he doesn't like now. And
Well, he already played that card.
Tired of him. I mean, I was starting to get kind of fucking tired of all of his bombastic what am I looking for? Where he just all of his fucking hyperbole, you know, it's like it's the greatest thing in the world that you can ask anybody, it's the greatest, hands down, you know, blah blah blah, all this fucking shit, always selling. And I started getting a little wary of that, but I'm real wary of that motherfucker now. This bullshit dance he's been doing, I'm like, okay, come on. People are waking up. People are realizing what's going on. And he's trying to sell it as this left-right bullshit. He's still trying to sell it as that left-right bullshit. And it's not left-right bullshit at all. It's them, and that's how they are. It don't matter. Take your pick.
If
you were 535 fucking miscreant perverts and drunks that are running the fucking country.
Yeah, if you recall, his original term, he was running against both sides. He was supposed to be the guy that's going to expose both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you got caught up
saying?
into this bullshit with this MAGA, Make America Great Again. What a fucking ambiguous slogan. I mean, that is so ambiguous. Okay, so first we have to assume that at some point in time America was great. All right. Well, what constitutes greatness and when was this? Now, that's a subjective term. What makes us great? Were we ever great? And when was that? Everybody got a different period of time in their minds. People saying, yeah, like in the 1800s. No, like in the 1950s. You know, it's going to be whatever point in time was probably the happiest for whoever was, you know, thinking about it. So it's just ambiguous. Nobody knows what the fuck they're even talking about.
Right.
I like the idea. I don't care about sides or anything like that, but I do like the idea if people want to swing that way to America first. I do believe that we should limit our government, go back to isolationism, where we just stick to ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need this world bullshit. It's when we start fucking with the rest of the world is when we start having problems. This is when Alexander the Great started having his worst problems, is when all these different societies started clashing with one another. He was trying to integrate everything together and it didn't work.
Yeah. I think most, like when they say that, 1950s would probably be a go-to of like when America was, you know, golden age of America, the 50s.
We were embroiled in a conflict in Korea in the early part of the 1950s that was not a declared war. It was a policing action under the UN and under the MacArthur. That was a bunch of shit there going on. We also had the McCarthy trying to root out communism all over the place. And in some cases he was right, but it turned out to be just like a pedantic witch hunt. And it did kind of violate the rights of citizens. So was it really that great? So was it the economy? Because the economy seemed to be good. And was that what constituted great? See, that's the thing. We don't really have a clear-cut definition of what greatness is represented by.
Based on his standards, what is he talking about?
It could be, make it bigger. It could be make it bigger by taking more land, make America great. Right? So there again, like I said, I like the idea of America first. That's what they're kind of floating out there now. I don't think we should have a party. I think it should be, we come together and we all agree on something or disagree. We kind of commit to going in that direction. And you do it through your actions. You don't necessarily have to do it through, these political means. It's like I said, we could topple this entire fucking thing if we just stopped. It's all we have to do is just stop participating. If a great majority of the people just stopped participating, the wheels of this fucking thing would grind to a halt.
Oh yeah, it'd be done.
Yeah.
Be done. Yeah.
That's what we have to realize, is that we actually have the power. Fuck their little papers, fuck their little mandates and dictations and everything else like that. And even if they want to get out their little minuscule military compared to the rest of us out here, believe you me, we're just as armed. We don't have to be aggressive, but we can be resistant. And if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if, let's just say, even if the entire East Coast decided to take up this stance, that'd be a big problem for them.
It would.
Yeah.
And more would follow suit. More of it would follow suit, because it's like people are afraid to do something at first, but if enough people get together and they do something, other people will follow in. What I've seen, like there was a really cool video I saw one time. There was this people all in like a park and there was music playing. And all of a sudden one guy, it's apparently like an outdoor concert. And this one guy, he gets up and he just starts dancing. And he's the only one. People are kind of looking at him like, what? This guy's up standing up dancing, Or soon somebody else gets up and goes over near him and starts dancing too. And that's inspired a couple more people. Pretty soon the entire place was up dancing. And it all started with one guy.
People
who
can
had the courage to go ahead and stand out amongst the rest.
Yeah.
And
People
you
can
gotta be a person that doesn't give a flying fuck what somebody else thinks about your opinion. If you're deeply enough rooted into it and you find it as truth, then you go with it and stay with it, regardless of what other people say. This is what the whole purpose of the globe troll is, okay? He's to ridicule you back into line with the rest of the sheep. Because nobody wants to be called a dumbass. Nobody wants to be saying, you're retarded. You probably didn't even finish school. You don't go along with what teacher said. It's that mentality right there. And people, a lot of times, they'll fall back into line. They'll fall back in and say, oh, yeah, I don't want to, it's like, no, I'm sticking to my fucking guns. I don't give a shit what you think. I don't give a shit what you say.
Yeah.
I know this to be true, and you can't prove otherwise, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's a process to get there. It really is, though. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, you have to learn to be that way. Or they call it Sigma. I have that Sigma personality. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be in a group of people. I don't want to. I enjoy a group of people, but I don't want to be part of like I don't know, what do you call it, like an organization or something like that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be fucking bothered with it,
Yeah. I'm more the opposite. Like as a musician, I'm in front of people a lot, so I enjoy it. But yeah, it's like, look what happened in 2020. What was people's biggest concerns?
In the wind? Oh yeah.
Freemasons. See how when?
What is that? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh god, yeah. Everybody's popping on it. Oh, they had jets fly out. Well, the Saudi Arabian guy was here today. That's nice.
He got it. Chip just got what I was talking about. TP.
I have a picture somewhere of a teepee that somebody teepeed. With toilet paper?
Yeah.
Kind of redundant, but What is this? Orphans were sold to the Vatican for $50,000? Wait a second. Is this true? Each? Ohio's governor sold orphans to the Vatican for $50,000 each. How do you get to sell orphans? What the fuck?
In 1978, Vatican Archives leaked a single document that sent shockwaves through Ohio's state government. Project Sanctum had been operating in Youngstown since 1952, a joint operation between Catholic leadership and state officials. The classified files revealed that 8 and 47 children from Ohio's overcrowded orphanages had been secretly transferred to specialized facilities for what Vatican researchers called spiritual conditioning experiments. These weren't adoptions, they were psychological trials, testing the limits of religious indoctrination on developing minds. Former Ohio Governor James Rhodes personally signed off on each transfer, receiving $50,000 per child from an unnamed Vatican account. The children were told their families had died, then subjected to 16-hour daily prayer sessions, sensory deprivation, and divine revelation procedures involving experimental drugs. Most disturbing, aerial photographs from 1963 show a perfect cross burned into the earth behind the Youngstown facility, visible only from directly above, as if meant for heavenly observation. When families began asking questions in 1979, the facility burned down overnight.
That's pretty crazy. Wow. Oh, this guy, he gets in a lot of trouble with these kids. What's this guy? Myron Gaines. You ever see him?
I have not, no.
This guy is pretty good.
So I know it's a crazy statement here, but I'm a Jew, so
okay.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Ooh, crazy! Oh my God. Yeah, I'm actually from Israel, so I'm here to talk
Cool.
about exactly what. First of all, I want to start by saying I don't really get what the purpose of doing the Nazi salute is. Like, it's kind of like, as a Jew standing here, like, I want to talk to you. Like, you say you're peaceful and stuff like that, but I really don't get the purpose of it. You know
Okay.
how it makes me feel, so like, I would rather if you wouldn't do that, obviously. But do you have anything to say about why you're doing it? Like, what's the purpose of it? You're not claiming the World War II didn't happen, so like.
You're saying
are you
I
doing?
didn't claim that World War II?
Yeah, you're not denying it, right? So
No, I'm not denying it.
Yeah,
I'm just
so-
saying I think that, the circumstances and facts around it are very questionable, and I don't think that it occurred the way that a lot of these historians and Holocaust experts are saying, because they have obviously a financial incentive to maintain a certain narrative. But yeah, when it comes to like the Roman salute or whatever, aka this, the reality is that I think that nothing should be off the table when it comes to speech. And sometimes you have to push the edges of speech to ensure that we protect speech and be able to have discussions. And this is one of those topics that for a very, very long time, you haven't been able to talk about because, the Jewish lobby has a lot of power, a lot of influence, and they shut anybody down that talks about it. But it took a genocide in 4K for us to finally be able to have this very difficult conversation. But before October 7th, if you criticize Jewish power, if you talked about Zionism, if you talked about undue influence in American politics when it comes to Zionism, you would get banned off of YouTube and these social media platforms so fast you couldn't even say, shalom. So I think us having this conversation is very important. And sometimes you have to push the barrier of it, which means even doing taboo things and saying taboo things to ensure that freedom of speech stays for everybody.
Sure, we'll definitely disagree about that, but
Sure.
He handles himself very well, man. He really does. Like back in the 30s, American school children, when they did the like Pledge of Allegiance or whatever, they did the Roman salute to the flag.
Is that right?
It wasn't well, no, there was like no, we didn't hate Hitler. In fact, 1933, he was Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Or 1936, 33 or 36, I forget, but he was Time Magazine's Man of the Year.
What?
Yeah. Listen, we only there was already fighting France, had taken over France, and were waging an air war against Britain, 1940, and Britain was getting their ass kicked. There were mercenaries from the United States that went over and flew for the Royal Air Force. And they got paid, a certain amount of money for every one of the planes they shot down. But yeah, they were fighting in that, but the United States wasn't in the war. And that was May 1940 to, I think, September or October. It was going to be in preparation for a German amphibious landing into Britain called Operation Sea Lion. They were going to do like what we did, but into France, but they were going to go from France into England. And they never could actually gain full air superiority. And Hitler was reluctant to invade the British because he saw them as people that were very much like the German people. He didn't want to have to fight them. That's why he let them go at Dunkirk. When they drove the British forces out of France to the shores and beaches of Dunkirk, they could have slaughtered that entire army right there on the beach just by strafing them with aircraft. But Hitler decided to let them escape, let them go. And the Free French went with them too. So, you know, he didn't want to kill these people. He really didn't want to. But we're sold a whole nother bill of goods on that.
Well, they show us D-Day more so than that stuff.
Sure. Well, we have to sell World War II as the noble and just war. You see, it hadn't been that long, and it was still in the memories of a lot of people by 1940 and 1939, when the hostilities actually began with the German invasion of Poland. The United States was still suffering the repercussions of being involved in the First World War. And the sentiment amongst the people here in the United States was, no, once is enough. We're not doing that fucking shit again. Holy crap, we went into debt, and a lot of our guys didn't come home, and the ones that did come home are fucked up. No, we don't want it. So the only way they could sell that, so we started doing this Lend-Lease program, because Britain needed arms. And we started sending them weaponry and arms, and of course those mercenaries that helped fight with the Royal Air Force. And Churchill kept begging to get the United States involved. They couldn't get popular support. And so they devised another plan to where they kept playing poke the bear with Japan, and then made the threatening move of putting the 7th Fleet in Pearl Harbor against the advice of the admiral of the fleet, that it left the west coast of the United States completely vulnerable, and the fleet vulnerable by being out in the open 360 degrees. So in response to the protest by this admiral, Roosevelt just fired him. He just fired him and put somebody else in charge. They knew Pearl Harbor was coming, but they expected it. They wanted it to happen because that would by de facto put us at war with Germany, because Germany and Japan were allied.
Exactly.
So we have to sell it as the noble and just war that we reluctantly entered, if not for the dastardly sneak attack by the Imperial Japanese Navy. On December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. Because we can't have the American people know that the whole thing was Grandpa hit the beach at Normandy to help Stalin push communism through Europe. It's that simple.
No, well, nowadays they don't even give a fuck about that, man.
Well, that's what it was. That's what it was. They try to put it off that the evil Germans. See, it's all through the propaganda machine. You got to understand, too, that the people, it was a lot easier, or it was a little more difficult to sway people's opinion through the media because, well, there wasn't no TV. All you had was radio. That was pretty good. But once a week, you would go to the movie theater. A lot of people would. They'd go to catch a movie. There was movies coming out all the time. And there would be a newsreel, or people would go just for the newsreel. And there would be like the world news would come across in a movie form before the movie played. and they would tell you about what was going on with the poor, haggard British soldiers on the front with Germany and that kind of thing, and then tell you, it was that's how the news went. And so, of course, they could sway it real easily, especially with a big screen like that. And they've only perfected it with time by 4K television and that kind of thing, and they know how to sway you through imagery and music. Get the right music. Look at Erica Kirk. They timed that perfect when that crescendo of that music as she looked up to the sky. It's just like it's all fucking directed, man. And they know how to make you feel a certain way. And they know that the key to manipulating you is through your feeling. They want you to shut your logic off and want you to operate from a place of pathos, because it's easier to trick you that way.
Yeah, and people below 35, 30, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No. Well, they haven't realized it yet. If you realize it, think about this. Try to figure any movie that you've ever seen that doesn't have any music in it.
None of them, even the old silent films.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
came with music, yeah. But see, when there's always music, and the music always reflects the mood of the scene. How can music reflect a mood? Because music is audible emotion.
Yeah, watch Gladiator without the sound score.
Yep.
It won't be as good of a movie. It just
I'll
won't.
tell you one to look up. I'm getting ready. I got to shut it off here. I've been going 3 hours. I gotta work in the morning. But look up on YouTube Friends without the laugh track.
It'd be stupid as shit, I bet.
It's wild because the scenes with Ross is like a fucking psychopath. He is, man. There's the one where they took the laugh track out, and it's the one where somebody kept eating his lunch at his office, or at the museum where he works. And without the laugh track, man, he seems like a deranged psycho. He does.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not funny at all. But that's the whole thing. They put the laugh track in there to coerce you that that's funny. They train you that that's funny.
Yeah.
Now, I saw this happen to somebody where he'd been talked into having to take those antidepressants, SSRIs. And of course, over time, you have to start taking bigger and bigger doses. Well, he'd been taking them for a while. And he'd be sitting there like with Wheel of Fortune on the TV, and his back to the TV, and he's looking at his computer doing stuff on Facebook or whatever. And when they'd spin the wheel, I'd notice this. They'd spin the wheel, and he's not even looking at the screen, but when the audience clapped, he would stop doing what he was doing and clap. He had no idea what had happened, but he was responding to that clap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he would laugh when there was a laugh track played. It was amazing to me. And I'm like, he's not even watching it. And Wheel of Fortune is like a thing that you kind of like have to watch. If you kind of participate at home, you're trying to figure out the puzzle too, right?
Yeah.
And he's just responding to these different stimuli that are being given to him through, the cues. It's no different than having an applaud sign up, that tells the audience they're supposed to applaud, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And they just give you these audible cues, and automatically you think that that's funny. But I'll tell you what's really wild is you watch some of that shit without that, or watch them put different music to a movie. Think about how it would be to play some really happy song to a violent shootout scene. It just doesn't fit. It fucks it up. You're like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
Because we're used to that. But anyway, I got to get off here. I want to thank you for coming up tonight, Shifted Reality. I don't know where the other guys are this evening, but hopefully they'll be back for the next show.
No problem.
Cubby's going to be getting a new computer here real soon, so that ought to be interesting. Maybe he's got it and he's trying to get it set up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But all the people that showed up in the chat tonight, we've got 190 people watching on the YouTube side. We've got 11 big bongo and no stopping it, I see over in the chat, but 13 watching over on the Rumble side as well. A lot of good people. You're in the right place. So I have to get to bed here soon. So I'm going to call it a night. And let's not forget, the Lord loves a working man. Don't never, ever, ever trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. And if you heard the shot, probably wasn't meant for you. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Good night, everybody.